Live from Chatterbox Sports Studios, it's Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman.
This is day 3 without Tom Brenneman here in the studio, and it is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. It is great to be with each and every single one of you. I'm Paul Fritschner filling in. I'll be here today. I'll be here tomorrow, but we got the whole cast of characters. Jacob, Elliott, Casey, Reed. Everybody is here today. We're going to have Tracy Jones on the show today. We got a lot to talk about between the Reds. We have the first perfect game in 11 years. We have Reed with a historic victory last night in the CABL. Taylor Swift merch since 8 p.m. last night. There is a lot going on in the city. There's a lot to talk about. But the first thing that we are going to lead off with, because it's the first thing on everybody's mind, Elliott, how are you feeling today?
I'm not going to lie. I'm still in immense pain. But here's the thing about pain. It can be distracted. And it was distracted by Luke Dreamweaver last night. I've tried to tell everybody here. I've tried to tell the whole world. Luke Weaver is going to give up 7 runs always. First 2 innings, you're going to be down 5 runs. That's how it works with Dreamweaver. I've told Jacob this. I've told Paul this. But, you come in here, and it's like Dreamweaver is terrible, but we win on Dreamweaver night. So I'm feeling phenomenal.
Elliott, Jacob, Casey, I want you guys to close your eyes.
Okay.
Reed, you don't have to. You're not a Reds fan. But I want you guys to close your eyes, and I want each and every single one of you watching and listening to close your eyes, unless you're in the car. Maybe don't do that unless you're at a red light. Just close your eyes for just a minute.
Trying to take away my worries of today.
I hate this song.
And leave tomorrow behind. Would you even? I believe you can get me through the night. Dreamweaver, I believe we can reach the morning light.
Dreamweaver. 4 1/3, 4 runs, and the Reds win again. How about that? They just can't stop winning when this man gets on the bump. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in the water. I don't know what happens when he wakes up. What happens to this lineup? I don't know.
I'll tell you what's happening. I'm like, when you're trailing in a game and that thirst for a comeback, you're gonna get sparked when Luke. You need a couple more runs. You need a few more always. There's never a time in that 9-inning stretch where we don't need just a couple more runs, and they know that going into the game. Luke Weaver has a 7 ERA, a 7. He starts every week. He has a 7 ERA. I don't know how they do it. I don't know why they do it. But it's Dreamweaver. And Dreamweaver, I was here, people were calling, Jacob was calling for his head yesterday. Everybody was calling for his head. Listen, guys.
He didn't pitch well.
When did I say that he pitched well? It's not about pitching. He provides the spark. He is the spark to the flame.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Reed.
Well, I was just going to say, what Dreamweaver does is he doesn't coddle you. When you have an ace on the mound, that coddles the lineup. They're like, all right, we just need to get a couple runs today, 2, 3 runs, and we win this ball game. No, you don't want that. Cut that out. Dreamweaver keeps you on your toes, man. He's the parent that just constantly criticizes you, so you need to be better. You need to be better. No coddling from Dreamweaver.
I mean, it really is incredible when you go back through Dreamweaver's stats here for the season. Every time you look at one of his lines, it just gets better and better. I mean, the Reds are 6-0 in their last 6 games when Dreamweaver has taken the mound. 6-0.
And he has no wins.
In the last 6 games.
No wins.
And
no wins.
He does not have a decision since May 9th. He's 1-2. He does not have a decision since May 9th. He's 1-2 on the year. They have won their last 6 games when he pitches. They have won 7 of their last 10 when he pitches. And in the games that they lost, the last game that they lost when he pitched, the Reds lost 2-1. That was against St. Louis on May 25th. The game before that, he went 4 1/3, gave up 4 runs. Does that sound familiar, fellas? Yeah, it is, because that's exactly what happened last night. 4 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. His ERA on the season is 6.96. And the Reds have not lost since May 25th when he takes the mound. And oh, by the way, that May 25th game was far and away his best start of the year.
Yeah, you can't have Dreamweaver be good because
He went 6 in the third innings and did not allow a run in that game.
Listen, guys, if he's gonna pitch well, the offense, they know, like, oh, we don't need to score because Dreamweaver had it. If they know Dreamweaver doesn't have it, that's when they turn it on. That's when they kick it into the second gear, Paul. The Dreamweaver, this will go down as one of the more preposterous things of all time. That maybe if Jabot ends the season with 20 wins. Like, I don't know how this Reds team is pulling off victories at this point. It's just you ride the magic. You ride next week. I think he's going to be playing Milwaukee. I'll be in Milwaukee for that. I'm going to put my mortgage responsibly on Bedford Sportsbook. I'm going to put my mortgage that my parents pay on Luke Dreamweaver. That's a fact.
If you wait for him to give up those 5 first-inning runs, the value's astronomical.
I agree.
You know we're coming back.
I agree. When we were up 4-0 in the first, I was concerned. Then I thought the offense was going to go to sleep. We had it in the bag. No, Luke Weaver fixed that, and right away down 5-4 right after 1. I mean, this guy is incredible. I want him here forever. So I would extend Dreamweaver. Extend, Jacob? Would you extend him?
I would not extend Luke Weaver.
See. This is why we can't have good things, because Dreamweaver, all he does is produce.
At the end of the day.
And then and the crazy part is, dude, after he blows up, he has one blow up. And after that, he's a Cy Young winner.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, go ahead.
If Luke Weaver didn't have to pitch the first and second inning, he might be a Cy Young candidate. And David Bell, we can do that. Let's just start an opener for Luke Weaver.
Yeah, but
let him pitch.
But that's
2
part of
through
the
6.
experience. That's part of the experience.
Yeah, it's not.
Do you
it's
go
not
to
the
Olive
same
Garden
thing.
and not get the breadsticks and the salad?
Yeah, that's it. It's true. It's true. The offense needs to know they need just a couple more. They always need a few more.
Luke Weaver's ERA in this 6-game win streak with him on the mound is over 11.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's just unbelievable.
How many runs have we scored?
We're averaging 8.5 a game.
You're damn right we are. Because it's Dreamweaver. It's a magical run for a magical team. That's all I have to say. I was right, and I'll always be right.
The Reds are a half game up in first place in the NL Central right now. The Brewers won last night. The Cardinals, I believe, lost last night. The Cardinals just continue to flounder. They are now 9 games back in the Central. And the Reds are halfway through the season now. The Reds have played 81 games. They are 43-38. I don't know what we expected out of the Reds this year, but I'm going to say at the 81 win mark, we expected, if the Reds have 43 wins right now, I think everybody would have said 32 wins, 33 wins, maybe. That's 11 more wins right now on June 29th. Still, 10 games, 9 games before the All-Star break, than we would have expected out of this team. Cubs won last night, right?
No.
Cubs lost last night.
I think they got blown out.
Oh, they did?
Let me do my best, Paul. Is this like a shtick? Like, is this a bit?
It's not Wednesday.
No, that actually wasn't.
Shticks
Maybe
are
I just
back on.
misremembered.
It is extra sticky on
It's-
Thursday.
Yeah, it's getting sticky in here.
Sticky and picking on Thursday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Cubs lost 8-4.
Cubs lost 8-4.
8-5.
Good,
Okay.
Good try. Yeah, they tried their best.
Elsewhere around baseball last night, if you were asleep and missed it, everybody in this room was awake and saw it. But if you were asleep and missed it, Domingo Germán threw the – is it Germán? I think it's Germán.
Yeah, yes.
Actually Germán.
It's got the accent. The little
Through
line.
the 24th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. 27 up, 27 down for the Yankees against the Oakland A's. Casey, run it.
Stands in his way. Grounded to third. Donaldson has it. There it is! Perfection for Domingo Germán!
Who was playing first? Was Rizzo at first?
Looked like it.
Most famous third to first catch ever for Anthony Rizzo?
That's what we're saying.
Everybody wins a World Series. Not everybody throws a perfect game.
Yeah, everyone wins World Series.
Everyone wins one.
Is it Riz? It is.
I-
Yeah, it looks like Riz.
Yeah, it looks like Rizzo.
Is Oakland in 2023 the worst possible place to throw a perfect game?
Yep.
This is the perfect tree falling in the forest question. If you throw a perfect game out in Oakland at 12:04 Eastern time, does it even happen? So I picked this up in like the 6th or 7th inning, maybe when it was 18 up, 18 down. I saw a tweet and picked it up, started watching around the 8th inning. He was just mowing them down. 27 up, 27 down for Herman. He allowed 10 runs in his last start. People were wondering if he had lost his spot in the rotation. 10 runs in his last start, and he comes back in Oakland and throws a perfect game. Oakland had gone the longest in the major leagues without being no-hit. It was July of 1991, I believe. I tweeted it last night. I believe it was 1991. July 13th, 1991. It was the longest streak in the majors. Next up, the Nationals. They have not been no-hit since July 18th, 1999, which, oh, by the way, was the last time the Yankees threw a perfect game. David Cohn, back in July of 1999. Nationals obviously were still the Expos, so we were talking yesterday about what team records the Expos and the Nationals still share. That's one of them. Nationals have gone the longest now in the major leagues without being no-hit. Elliot, you texted right after this final out. You texted me and said, you never thought you'd see another perfect game because of the way that the analytics and the pitcher's arms and guys getting pulled early. And you look at the last few no-hitters, and I mean, no-hitters have basically become obsolete in the sense of how often they happen or whether it's combined, whatever it is. No-hitters have very much lost their luster. But you kind of felt like maybe it's been 11 years since Felix threw one in 2012. Maybe we weren't going to see one for a long time. I don't want to say ever, but it kind of felt like this streak was going to continue.
Yeah, I think the Rays pitching model of pulling guys early. If you remember the World Series game where what's his name got pulled,
Blake Snell.
When Blake Snell got pulled, you start to see this, and it's like the pitch count. Every Reds fan on earth gets mad when Bell pulls a guy for 90 pitches. But the fact of the matter is, every team's doing that. I never would have thought that a perfect game. I mean, obviously there are very few exceptions, and it's a very rare thing to do. But I truly thought we had seen our last one with the way this game's going. I think you look at guys like Alek Manoah struggling heavily with the pitch clock. I think the pitch clock comes into play when you're a pitcher. I just think the way the game has evolved, the game has changed. I would have bet against there being another perfect game. Now, what I didn't factor in was that the Athletics don't try to win games, and then Yerman is also a cheater. Respectfully,
I don't think you don't even have to throw the caveat in there.
But like he's been suspended twice this season.
Yeah.
He's been suspended twice for cheating, twice. So I don't know. I think that will we see another one after this? Yeah, I guess we will. But Clayton Kershaw had a no-hitter, I think, early last season through 7. He got pulled. And he got pulled because it was too early in the season for him to go a full game. And it's like that's the kind of mindset that's like this stuff isn't going to happen anymore. It's just the way baseball, the way analytics run the sport, it's just not going to happen.
We had a combined no-hitter in the World Series this year. You used to never see that. If a guy threw no hits, he was staying in the game.
Correct. 120 pitches, 130 pitches, doesn't matter. You won't see that ever again.
If you want to talk about how badly of a hitting era, directly after the steroid era was, there's been, 24 perfect games in the history of Major League Baseball? 6 of them happened in a 3-year stretch from 2009 to 2012. So it's just like an anomaly. 1/4 of the perfect games in Major League history happened in a 3-year stretch, which is kind of crazy.
And you remember back when Matt Cain and Phil Umber, Dallas Braden, Felix, obviously, all these guys just back to back to back to back, and you're thinking, has the perfect game aged out? Has the perfect game lost its luster? And that's been 11 years. 11 years since the last one.
The 3 fewest attended perfect games have all happened in Oakland. Catfish Hunter, Dallas Braden.
Dallas Braden's was on Mother's Day, wasn't it?
Correct.
I think so.
Then he tried to fight A-Rod his next start. Got a real big head really quickly. So did A-Rod for other reasons.
Yeah, baby.
That was good.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I the way the game has changed, I would have never guessed this. I mean, you're not going to see pitchers throw 110 pitches really anymore. A couple of them will. A couple of the old school baseball managers will still let it happen no matter what. But I would say it's getting to a point where this will not happen any longer. I bet in 10 years, again, unless it's an all-contact pitcher where you're not striking out anybody and it's just all ground balls, fly balls, stuff like that, you're not going to see this anymore.
Domingo threw 99 pitches. Like
Yep.
there was no even question about length here. Like,
Yep.
You have to have a guy that's on his game and not striking out a ton of batters, which is a rare, pairing.
Sounds like Luke Weaver to me.
Yeah, well, Jacob just told me. I mean, what if Luke Weaver throws a perfect game? I think there's a serious chance.
Domingo Germán's start before this was 3.1 innings, 10 runs. That's a Luke Weaver start.
That's a Luke Weaver game, and I bet the Yankees lost because they don't have the magic of Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver can go out there and throw a perfect game. You'll find great value on that.
How long do we seriously think that Dreamweaver stays in this rotation? Because I'm a little worried.
The rest of the year.
Well, they don't have bodies, and
I know.
And that's the concern now. Where if you get rid of him, people know this. They're winning on the games he starts. So it's like if you factor that, and with that, the Reds just have no warm bodies to be a starting pitcher right now. He's going to be here the rest of the season.
Alec Mills was about to pitch in extra innings last night.
Yep.
Luke Weaver's going to keep starting for this game.
We're going to stay out west. The Dodgers won a big one last night. Casey?
You got that YouTube clip up there?
Not yet.
All right, give him a second.
Okay. We have some highlights from the Dodgers game last night.
Not west, just a little south of here. Just about a mile
west.
south. It is actually west of here too,
Yeah.
geographically.
We got, as I was saying, plenty to talk about today with the Reds, and also
into the
Tracy
comments.
Jones will be joining us 11:30. 11:30 today, and we're going to get in. I'm sure we're going to talk Taylor Swift because they've been lining up. We have some video
Which one do you want?
from the Taylor Swift merch line.
Yes.
One picture from local news local news is just the best of the best. I mean, there truly is nothing better than man on the street local news interviews.
The best.
There is one from today, this morning, that is just laugh out loud funny. But we're going to get to that later. Here's highlights from the Dodgers game last night.
All right, let me give you guys a little lead in here. Dodgers go down to the bottom of the seventh, down 3 runs against the Suds, who are at the top of the cable standings. We got our leadoff double from Steven Salisbury. He's a Rookie of the Year candidate. He's playing great. Gets on base at a high clip, nearly 60% of the time. So remember, down 3, we got former draft choice Malcolm Diaz from Puerto Rico up. Yabo at Foundation Field, big
And
dog.
he's fired up. Look at
Hell
that.
yeah, he is.
He is fired up.
Heck yeah. All right, you can zoom along a little. You can press the side arrow maybe. Maybe just a hair. Yeah, all right.
There we go.
Down a run.
Get the squad going.
Eric Licklider due up. 2 home runs. Leading the league in RBIs comes up. They intentionally walk him. He's the tying
Yeah, we don't
run.
want anything to do with him.
Tying run. I don't get that one. Oh, man, he just zoomed my
Uh-oh.
hit.
Wait.
Just-
You got to
just-
go back.
just-
Here's Reed Mouse.
Just skipped my hit
Uh-oh.
right here. Just a
Reed.
nice little piece up the middle.
That's
So-
good, solid hitting, Reed.
Ball
Down
player right
down
there.
a run, we got Brad Clark with his entire family at the game. All of his kids there. Pieces one off the bottom of the fence. Had to hold put because there's
Look at that
nobody
third
out.
base coach just jumping.
I
Get
mean,
home.
I'm rounding third, heading for a home for the game-winning run. Pete Rosen it into home plate. Look at the catcher just get so mad. Game winner. Look at the Dodgers. 20-win season coming soon.
Look at this spike by the catcher. I love that.
Congratulations to your Dodgers.
Thank
So
you.
I guess for people that don't know, we're seeing a lot of questions in the chat here. Reed is the most valuable player of the Cincinnati Adult Baseball League. He plays for the, as they say, cable Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Coming for the title this year, or how are the playoff prospects looking, Reed?
We don't have the pitching to win it all. So they do 2 tiers of playoffs. If you fit in the top tier, you go for the championship. Then you got the secondary tier. We'd have a chance if we played bad enough to be in the second tier, but we'll probably be like the worst team in the top tier. So we got the Yankees next week. That's a big one.
It's a big one.
That's a big one out at Sycamore High School. See you guys there, 6:30 next Wednesday. I'm on the bump. Thank you for indulging me, Paul.
Absolutely, Reed. The people need to know about the CABL. Also, what are we doing about our the Metro softball team?
Yeah, let's get a team.
Let's talk about the Metro.
It's $377 to enter the Metro. I know Everett Henry's already in. But let's get a team together. Let's get in the E-League. That's the worst league they have.
That's what we need.
And let's try to win a game. That is the bar I'm setting. A game. I don't think we can do it, but I'm gonna. That's the bar we gotta.
I have been hearing about the Metro, so I had never heard of the Metro before joining Chatterbox Sports, and I've been hearing about it because I joined Chatterbox, I think, as it was going on last year. I think it was just finishing up last year. Biggest softball tournament in the country?
Not the country. I wouldn't say it's a country, but it is absolutely. So there's like 14 divisions. Each division has like 40 teams in it. So, I mean, it is absolutely a 2-week tournament that goes from noon until like 2 in the morning every single day.
Athleticism, Elliot, with the back. How are you feeling about potentially joining this team?
Bad, poor. I would have to be first base, and if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to need a pinch first baseman. There's going to need somebody to. I can field the ball, and then I'm going to have to need somebody to run to first. So we'll have 2 people by me, but I would do it. I offer no power, no stamina. I offer nothing. I would be the moral leader of this team. That would be my
glue guy.
That would be
glue guy.
You and Jonathan
the
India.
team. That would be the team. Great defensive effort last night by India. The umpire was trying to screw him over, but he got the call. I would participate. I would not be very good. My at bats would surely go viral for how poor I am. But I'd play.
I'm scared for you playing Elliott because in the E-League you would go 2 for 5 every game because you're only allowed 2 home runs a game. The whole team is. So your first 2 at bats are home runs, and then you just get an automatic out because you're hitting 5 home runs in the game.
That's okay. All right. Okay, that makes me feel better. So my home runs won't count. That's good.
Yeah.
AJ Worst is calling you Ham Porter.
Ham Porter. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I could listen. Who's the guy from Benchwarmers?
Rob Schneider?
No. Who's the kid from Benchwarmers that says you're still fat? Who's that kid?
We know who you're talking about.
I'd be that catcher. Anyway, no, I think I'd participate, but I wouldn't be very good. Jacob would be our guy. Alabama, frat. This guy lives for this.
I think I can man one of the corners of the infield. Reed's the third baseman, so I'll take first.
Cold corner.
I think we can get it done. We can win a game.
Everett Henry says 100% honesty. My previous Twitter account was dedicated to making fun of the Metro. If you guys obviously have no idea what the Metro is. It is a different world. It is so unique in that guys take it so seriously. I mean, we're talking they bring a speaker to play walk-up songs for it. They all show up. I mean, it is very intense for guys that like us that are just going to be goofing around. And they will get so mad if us goofballs
So I get a walk
win
up
a game.
I get a walk up song.
If we bring our own speaker, sure.
Oh,
Question.
I'd troll.
What would your walk-up song be?
I don't know, but that would be. I don't know. I would have to think for hours on that. Maybe it would be maybe Baby Shark. I would come out to Baby Shark.
You would. What was his name?
Gerardo Parra.
Gerardo Parra.
I do Baby Shark. Jacob.
I don't know. For the Metro, you got to do something funny. All my actual walk-up songs for if I was in the MLB are in my back pocket. I'm not going to use for this.
Yeah.
Baby Sharks are good.
This is your only chance.
No.
Baby
Yeah,
Sharks
I
are-
think
No,
you.
wait a minute. No, he's trying to get into the MLB, guys. What do you?
Right.
what are
I
you
still
doing?
have faith. I'm not shutting that door.
Yeah, no.
I'm not shutting that door.
I agree with him.
I mean, if I show out at the Metro,
13 years, I'll be on the tour. You guys know this, so go ahead.
yeah, you're going to be top 5 in the Olympics.
That's right.
What is your MLB song?
Look Alive by Future would be my walk-up.
All right. Chad Waite says Casey is definitely right fielder. Just got the look. Casey's
going to catch.
with all love and respect, you are the catcher. You will be behind the dish. The ball goes to the fence. You just make sure it gets back out to the pitcher.
Sure thing.
What's your walk-up song, Casey? I'll go Taylor Swift. Why not? It's on brand.
Amish Paradise.
I love it. Absolutely. Heaven and Hell by Kanye West from the Donda album starting at 109.
That's your guy, Reed.
I do love Kanye. I mean, he's the best artist that we've ever seen.
That's your guy. Casey, speaking of Taylor Swift, we're going to do this now. Do you have that DM, the screenshot that I sent you from Local 12?
Yeah, I just got to pull it up real quick.
Okay. As I was saying before, if for those of you who maybe don't watch the local news, You're missing out on just entertainment. You're missing out on this. This lady right here, not the newscaster, whoever she's interviewing, called out sick to work and showed up to the interview like this.
That's awesome.
This is outstanding.
That's awesome.
This is outstanding. Imagine you're this person's boss and you turn this on. You can't be mad because you obviously recognize their voice. You can't be mad.
No.
There's no chance you can look at this and think, oh, that person should have been at work today. Unbelievable.
What are the chances InfoWars time? What are the chances that's all a bit?
Oh, no.
That's all a
It's
bit.
high.
Oh, no.
I was
High
thinking
chance.
the same
High
thing.
chance.
What if it's
No.
someone that works at Local 12?
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
called
say.
off from Local 12 and
I don't even think. I think like, what if they just played it up? They just said
What?
they pulled somebody from Local 12 and said, "Hey, we're gonna
I mean,
do this
there-
skit,
there's
and
a high.
it's gonna go viral."
I hope it's not a shtick because people who do shticks, those people stink.
It is
Life is
extra
so
sticky.
much better if you just believe the
Yes.
funny things
Yeah.
you see on the internet. Just believe them. They're funny.
Blackmore says that's Tom. CJ asks, I'm just waiting for Paul to call me up to the big leagues in the Xavier League. Yeah, we have a huge one tonight. Huge
Big
one.
one?
Team that knocked us out of the postseason last year.
Oh.
Big game tonight. I've heard they've lost somebody because I think they've gotten mercy ruled in every game this year. They beat us last year. Our run differential this year, I think, is like plus 50. I feel bad because half the league is like
dogs.
half the league is like professor teams
Yeah.
that are just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And even when you go and you swing and you're just taking a single, you're still scoring like 18 runs.
I mean,
In your league, you said that if you hit a home run, you have to go into the woods and get it.
yeah. So there's no fence in our league. So if you hit a ball to right field, there's a tree line in right field. If you hit it into the woods on the fly, it's a home run. If it rolls into the woods, it's a double. But the problem is that the fence, the tree line goes all the way across to the other field because there's a field diagonal from us. So you could hit the ball to the other field and have it roll in the woods. We've had people on third base get called back to go to second base because of a double, and they could have walked backwards home, and it's got to be a double. Big one tonight, though, in softball.
There we go.
As you can tell from our June 29th sports conversation,
it is June 29th.
it is June 29th in the sports world. It is June 29th. But hey, Reds have an off day. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say before we segue back into real sports talk,
Yeah.
CJ Efflers, he's our pitcher. We got an arm. We got an arm for the Chatterbox Metro team.
Oh,
That's
really?
big time.
He said he'd pitch. Said he's
That's
done it
big
before. We just need strikes, no walks.
Luke Weaver will be free in a month or two. Get him on the team.
Dreamweaver, we wouldn't lose. I know that
He
going
would
in.
still allow 5 runs.
Oh, 100%.
In the underhand
Oh,
zone.
100%. But it would be fun.
Elliot, Jacob, Casey, do you guys have gloves?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a catcher's mitt. No.
You don't need a mitt.
You don't need a mitt.
You don't need a
Oh,
mitt.
Casey
You're not
needs a
actually
mitt.
catching. You are, but I'm telling you,
You're wearing the gear and everything.
your back is up against the fence. You're just talking with the umpire. The ball comes in. You go fetch it and throw it back.
Now, what if a foul ball goes back towards Casey? Because they don't wear gear, right?
Oh,
They don't
Casey's-
stand
Casey's-
behind the batter.
Oh, they don't?
I mean, sometimes they put their glove out there to kind of.
Oh,
show.
you mean wait. You mean they're just off to the side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, what?
So the
Have you guys
wait,
ever
wait.
played slow pitch softball?
So you don't.
No.
You don't
Yeah.
even-
What are you talking about?
Catcher's
Why would
not
they?
behind catching. He just stands back there.
He just stands there to get the ball back
there's
to the
no,
pitcher.
There's no defense.
So he just has to go over and pick up the ball
Yeah, and throw
like
it
a
back.
toddler.
He's
Throw it
not
back
even
to the
supposed to
pitcher.
catch it because the ball's got to land, and that's how they know if it's a ball or a strike. Yeah, you stand out of the way to avoid everything.
I mean, despite that being.
Paul, you play slow pitch softball.
Yeah, all of our catchers stand behind the plate.
Why?
You literally can't catch the ball.
Right, you're not allowed to catch the ball. You got to let it fall. You got to let it land. So
Well,
you
this-
can call it if it's a ball or
that's not-
strike.
Despite that being a grave misuse of my talents, I will sacrifice for this team and be the guy I need to be and just throw the ball back. That's fine. I'll be the best damn hitter on the team.
You might have a play at the plate, which we would need from you. I mean, if there's a play at the plate,
I got you. I got your
Buster
phone.
Posey.
Got to catch him and slap a tag down.
No concussions.
All right, Reds last night. Let's get back to the Reds. Reds last night win
Good
it.
segue.
Yeah, Reds last night win 11-7. Yet another spectacular offensive performance from our Cincinnati Reds. 11 runs on 16 hits last night. I'm trying to go back and see here. So Jonathan India didn't have a hit. Joey Votto did not have a hit. Joey Votto was 0 for 6 last night. Just making sure I get everybody in. Elsewhere, though, TJ Friedl, 3 hits. Ellie De La Cruz, 2 hits. Jake Fraley, 2 hits. Tyler Stevenson, 2 hits. Nice to see Ty Steve kind of get a little mojo back under his
playing
back.
Catcher. He had hit under 200 playing catcher. It was great to see.
Yeah, 2 for 4 last night for Stevenson. He was pinch run for by Newman. And then Will Benson in the bottom of the lineup, 3 for 5. Did he have a home run or was it a double?
It was double.
Double. Triple. Ended up at third. Yeah. Triple. But all the way through the lineup again for the Reds, 16 hits, 11 runs, 16 hits, and no errors from the Reds. Baltimore, 7 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Alexis Diaz comes out, gets the win. 1.8 ERA for Alexis Diaz. And again, he just continued, like we were talking about yesterday. When is it time to talk about Alexis Diaz? Because it's almost like we're taking everything for granted just because of how well he pitches. He comes out, he just gets it done, he keeps it moving, and the Reds win. You get 4 runs underneath your belt, and then you go to the bullpen and close it out there in the 10th inning.
Best reliever in the National League. If you would have told me, I think Paul alluded to this.
David Bednar?
What was that?
David Bednar?
David Bednar. Oh.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Any more, Reed? Thoughts?
No.
Okay, I'll continue. So, Jonathan India on opening day. TJ Friedl, Jake Fraley, Tyler Stevenson, Jason Vossler, Will Myers, Spencer Steer, Will Benson, Jose Barrero. That was our opening day roster, or opening day lineup versus the Pirates. If you would have told me that lineup was going to be producing like it is right now, I would have called you crazy.
It's not.
Well, Jason Vossler's not here. Jose Barrero's not here. But TJ Friedl, I predicted him to be a 5th outfielder.
Fair. That's fair.
TJ Friedl, 5th outfielder. You know, Spencer Steer, I didn't see him being this good. Did you?
No, not at all.
I mean, this is crazy what's happening. Absolutely crazy. There's no way to predict it. Vegas had us at 64 wins. 64.
And it seems sustainable.
Yeah.
It seems very sustainable, which is the thing when you get into these long baseball seasons. And obviously, as everybody that's watching this knows, you go through slumps, you have peaks, you have valleys. But with the way the Reds are going right now, it's, to me, seems sustainable because they are doing this against the best of the best. You look at the Orioles, they're not in first place because the Rays are in first place, but the Orioles are one of the better teams in the league this year. The Atlanta Braves are the best team in the league this year. And the Reds just went 3-3 against them in 6 games. And you throw out one weird rain game where you had a delay and it looked like they were dead coming off a plane after their energy was just completely taken from them after 3 huge games over the weekend against Atlanta. And then they got to go fly to Baltimore, suffer through a rain delay, and then just completely pee down their leg. Come out and win the next 2 games, including one in extra innings where you get 16 hits after your starter.
No bad things to say.
Respectfully. You can throw a respectfully in there.
Respectfully allowed however many runs as he did last night, 4 runs. So the Reds here are doing this against competition that makes you think that this is going to be a sustainable effort from this team over the next 2 months.
We're 5 games over 500, and that record seems like it's worse than it should be. We started 7-15. Elliot just read the opening day lineup. That lineup's not who we're walking out there anymore. Like, this team is better than 5 games over 500, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, and I think if you remember the early on games, we blew a ton of leads early.
Yeah.
I think even Diaz blew a game against the Cardinals early on. It's like the way from the first month of the season to now, it's not even remotely similar. The team we are fielding right now. So I think it is sustainable. The offense is going to continue to hit, going to continue to rake. The pitching is bad. The starting pitching is going to be a problem at some point this season. I still believe the bullpen is going to be an issue at some point this season. Ian Jabot is not good. You know, Fernando Cruz is he might be the worst pitcher of all time. He might be. We're bringing up guys from AAA who shouldn't be on a AAA roster.
Then immediately get DFA.
And then just get cut right away. Come pitch 3 innings, get your head taken off, and then we'll throw you in a dumpster. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. So I don't know how that goes moving forward. The question is if they're going to make a trade at the deadline, and I don't know.
Fernando Cruz is getting dangerously close to Will Benson territory. He was so bad his first stint up here. In his last 7 games, he's pitched 9 innings and allowed 0 runs.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty good stretch here lately in relatively high leverage situations.
But you don't trust him.
No, I'm not saying you trust
And that's
him,
my point.
but-
You don't trust when Ian Jabot waddles out to the
Correct.
mound. You don't
National
trust
League wins
him.
leader.
National
League wins leader Ian Jabot.
Ian Jabot, the pride of Great Britain. No, but I just think there's some serious issues that I don't know that can be fixed at the deadline. I think we will get a starter at some point. I don't know for what or for who. But other than that, I don't know if this team has long-term success this season in making a deep run at the postseason. They could because the offense is there. The offense is sustainable, like Paul said, but the rest of the team, I don't know.
And you look at how this season is shaping up, and we're not going to beat a dead horse. We've talked enough on this program over the last 2 weeks about the NL Central. Everybody knows what the NL Central is. We know what we're getting out of this division. We know that the Brewers and the Cubs and the Reds and the Pirates and the Cardinals are just middling teams that are going to potentially make a run here or there. But look, the Reds have 6 games coming up against the Milwaukee Brewers. You look at the next 2 weeks of the Reds schedule. You look at the first week of July, second week of July. You're talking about teams that, the Padres are good. The Padres are good, but the Padres are also beatable.
Yep.
I don't think that anybody is going to sit here and say that the Padres are the Atlanta Braves or the Baltimore Orioles.
They just lost a series to the Pirates.
Yeah.
They've been blown out.
Then you have 4 games against the Nationals before 3 games against the Brewers. Last off day today before the All-Star break. So you got to get through today, and then it's clear through to the All-Star break. 3 games against the Padres, 4 against the Nationals, 3 against the Brewers. 10 games left to the All-Star break. The Reds have played 81 right now. They are a half game up. What?
13 games.
Am I-
No, 10. You're right.
10,
You're
10,
right.
10.
I was counting Baltimore. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
10. I was
That's on me.
3 plus 4 plus
That's on me.
3. If we weren't getting to 10 there, then I was just going to walk off the set.
I was counting
going to
Baltimore
walk off the
series.
set.
You just gotta outplay the other guys. And we have a resident Cubs fan in Reed. Reed, do you think the Cubs will go all in at the deadline? With this
I don't think they'll
division?
go all in. It really just depends. The Cubs are kind of in a limbo. I mean, if they have what happened a couple years ago where they have just a terrible July, then there's no reason to go all in, and then they can get rid of Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman and any other pieces that won't be on the team next year. But I think there's a very real possibility where if they keep playing like they have been playing, that they will add at the deadline because they've still got a bunch of young talent. They've got money to blow. So if you're in a opportunity to win the division, why not go after it?
Yep.
Paul, what do you want the Reds to do in these last 10 games? What's the record where you feel real good about the Reds making the playoffs at the All-Star break?
So I was thinking about that, and my gut answer was 6-4. My gut answer was 6-4, but looking at who they're playing, just thinking in like a 10-game stretch, like
Right.
it would be nice to go 6-4 into the All-Star break. But then when you actually look at who they're playing the Nationals and the Padres, you get 2 against the Padres, you get 3 against the Nationals. That's 5. Can you get 2 against the Brewers and go 7-3?
I want to win all 3 series. I think winning that Brewers series is crucial. I mean, because if you lose all 3 of those games to the Brewers, there's a realistic chance. Not realistic. 99% chance that you're not in first place the All-Star break. I mean, you can't lose 3 games to the team that's right behind you. I mean, you like to say we're going to beat Washington. San Diego's obviously playing pretty bad. I think 7-3 is almost the floor of what I want out of these 10 games.
Yeah, the Padres, just so everybody knows coming into this series what's going on with the Padres, they have lost their last 4 games in a row. They have lost 7 of their last 9 games. Of their last 4 games, 2 of those losses were to Pittsburgh. 2 of them were on the heels of losses to the Nationals. They had beat Washington. They won their series finale against San Francisco. But then before that, it was 3 straight losses to the Giants, 2 of those on walk-offs. Padres, nobody's going to sit here and argue that the Padres are playing very good baseball right now. Those 2 wins, one Blake Snell, the other Joe Musgrove. Otherwise, they're just not playing very well right now. Yu Darvish, he took the loss in that game against San Francisco. So Yu Darvish right now in the season, 5-6 with a 4.84 ERA and 14 starts.
With the names the Padres have in their lineup, you do just have to worry about them in the back of your head at Great American. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot for guys to find that power at Great American. And, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, they could wake up and, have a pretty big series.
Reed asked me, Reed asked us, I think it was either Monday or last week, what our goal record would be in this stretch. My answer was 5-8. And I still stand by that. We're already 2 wins in. And I think we take 3 from Washington. I do think we take 2 from the San Diego.
5-8?
5-8 with 13 left.
Including the Baltimore series.
Including the Baltimore series.
Yeah.
So that was what I thought, because I wanted to be over 500 at the All-Star break. And that was my goal. Right now we're already on pace to crush that. So I'm very pleased with what's happening.
If the Reds go in, it's really hard, and I always try to do this where I don't overreact. Whether it's in football, it's obviously different in the NFL or in a sport like that where you're playing many fewer regular season games, but much fewer regular season games. But in a sport like baseball or college basketball and any of these sports, you try not to overreact or get too caught up in one series, because a lot of times you might say going into a series, oh, this is the most important series of the season, or this is the most important 5-game stretch of the season. And then the middle of September rolls around and you look back at your tweets and you say to yourself, what was I thinking? That series wasn't all that important. In retrospect, wasn't all that important. You do it in college basketball where you say to yourself, oh, these 2 games in December, this might be the biggest stretch of the season. And then you look back in the end of February, or you look at UConn this year, played horribly in the month of January, bookended by those losses to Xavier. Otherwise, they were the best team in the country.
Yep.
And one of the most historic runs to a national championship of all time. They just threw that out. Had one bad month of the season. I say that to mean this 6-game stretch upcoming against the Brewers, in a normal year, I would say, I don't know. Maybe just take it for what it is. The Reds go 3-3 in that stretch, so be it. But the reason I think that the 6 games against the Brewers are as important as they are is because not only does it set you up for the rest of the season where you're not playing the teams from the Central as much as you used to, because you're playing everybody now, which I love that. I love that you're playing. I think Tom made the point. Probably doesn't help the Reds as much this year.
No.
This is probably the year where you would have wanted to play the Central more because everybody's not as good. But in a season like this where you have to play the entire league, these 6 games against the Brewers, and as Tom pointed out, you can set your rotation up however you want, where you have the 3 games going in, those guys get a rest. You can have the top 3 guys coming out, whatever that top 3 looks like for the Reds right now. It's a very important 6-game stretch, because if the Reds go 5-1, say, in those 6 games, that alters, in my mind, what they could do in the next 2 weeks at the trade deadline.
Oh, I agree.
They're not going to mortgage their future on this season. Nick Kral's made that very clear. You look at teams in the past like the Orioles last year, they're not going to mortgage their future. You listen to Chatterbox Reds, Tracy and Nick have beaten that point into the ground. They're not going to go out here and sell off a bunch of guys or go for the gold this year just because they're a half game up or a game behind in a awful NL Central. But these 6 games against the Brewers are not only important because they don't play the Brewers much after that, but also because it tells you where you're sitting in the division and what you can potentially do 2 weeks later at the trade deadline, when, as Reed said yesterday, everybody's playing a game of chicken trying to figure out, are we going to sell guys off? Are we going to go for it? Because any one of these teams could go for it. Now, I don't really know what going for it looks like when you're a team in the NL Central right now. Does that mean you're going to win the World Series? If you're going for it, does that just mean you're trying to win the division and then you're going to get swept in the first round of the playoffs? Is that going for it? Or is going for it trying to win a World Series? Because as we've talked about a million times, you get in, you give yourself a chance to win. I don't know what going for it looks like in the NL Central this year. But at the end of the day, somebody has to win the division. Somebody has to raise a banner on opening day next year that says NL Central Champions 2023. That'll fly somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know what stadium it'll fly in, but it'll fly somewhere. And these 6 games against the Brewers, the 3 into the All-Star break and the 3 coming out of it, are going to tell you a whole lot about the rest of the season. Is it the most important 6-game stretch of the season? Maybe only if you go 0-6 or 6-0. But if you at least hold your ground and you go 3-3 and you're 2 games up, I don't even think in my mind that the Reds go for it if they're a game or 2 up. I think if you sweep the Brewers both times, you're 6 in a perfect world. You go 6-0 against the Brewers, who, by the way, have had your number for years in these situations when it matters for the Reds to beat the Brewers. The Brewers have had your number. Can the Reds go out there and make a move in this, and I mean on the field move, I don't mean a trade move. Can they make a standings move by asserting themselves against the Brewers? Because they had a chance to do that in late May, early June, whenever the Brewers were here in Cincinnati. And they only won 1 game. 4-game series, they won 1 game. Now, from there, the Reds have played pretty well. You could say that was maybe the last series that the Reds haven't really played well in, unless I'm forgetting one.
Oh.
I think that was the last series that the Reds really didn't play well in. So now you're going into the All-Star break with a chance to potentially be up 2-3 games. But at what point do you say to yourself, okay, we're up enough after the month of July to go for it? And even if you just say you're going for it, does that just mean you roll with the guys you got? You hope Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green come back, pitch well enough for you, and if you win the division, great. But if not, you're set up for next year. That's the kind of thing you got to think about right now when you have all these guys to try and make happy, figure out what you're going to do with them, who you're going to trade, who you're not going to trade, who you're going to roll with going into September. Those 6 games against the Brewers are going to tell you a lot. They're not the most important 6 games of the season, but they're up there. On the priority list, they're up there. So how do you handle it? What do you do? If you go, 7-3 into the All-Star break, and 2 of those wins are against the Brewers, you're feeling pretty good.
Yep.
You're feeling pretty damn good.
I think, and again, I hope this doesn't happen, but the Reds, it seems to me that they have tailed off towards the back half of the season. They've just kind of fallen apart. I think our worst months are either April or August, because August we just get killed, and then September has never mattered in Cincinnati, respectfully. It's just a month that the Reds just choke in. It doesn't matter. Our August schedule, the schedule after the Brewers, so after this All-Star break, and we get to August is a juggernaut. We're talking Blue Jays, we're talking Marlins, Angels, Diamondbacks, Giants. We play the Dodgers again still. I think going all in is you have to be so confident that you are going to beat the best of the best. And I think Reed touched on this last week, but it's there's a lot of teams there with above 500 records, and you're gonna have to prove yourself. You're gonna have to prove yourself. So are you gonna go all in to prove yourself? I don't know. To me, I think if they can stay the course, if they can go 4-2 against the Brewers, like Paul said, if we can get a commanding lead, so in August we can kind of play 500, maybe a little bit below 500, we'll be in a good spot to win this division. But I do think that there is a risk with a very hard part of the schedule coming up next.
Yeah, with these 10 games, 2 of these 10 games are still TBD starters, and we just sent Levi Stout back down to AAA, which means we can't use him again. So
Yep.
I genuinely don't even know who we're going to pitch for 2 of those games.
And on the flip side, Elliot, to your point about the Reds in August, here's the Brewers August. Washington, Pittsburgh,
Yep.
Colorado,
Yep.
the White Sox,
Yep.
LA, the Dodgers, and the Rangers, Minnesota, San Diego, the Cubs.
Yeah, that's an easy. It's a cakewalk month for a team that isn't completely dead. So you got to take care of business when it's nut cutting time. I think our September is also easy. So if we can just get to September, that would be great. We play the Cardinals a couple times, which scares me a little bit, but we got Tigers, the Mets, who don't have a soul, the Twins, Pirates a couple times. So it's like, I think get to September above 500, and I think the Reds win this division. I do.
The Reds do not play the Brewers again after July 26th. Those are the last 3 games against the Brewers. The Reds go up to Milwaukee for the 24th, 25th, and 26th of July, and that's it. So they have 6 games against the Brewers between, bookending the All-Star break. Then the Brewers go to Philadelphia. They come back against Atlanta. They play Cincinnati. That's it. So when you talk about how important a series is in the grand scheme of a season, yes, you try to take every game one day at a time. Yes, you try to understand that if you take a 30,000-foot picture of this season, that every game from opening day to the final game of the year matters the same. They all matter the same. But the games against the division, they matter a little more.
Yep.
And there's only 9 chances left for the Reds to assert themselves in this division. And to a certain extent, it's not for nothing if the Reds do it convincingly. A win is a win. Beating the Brewers 10-1 3 days in a row, it's still just 3 wins. But if you go in there and you go 4-2 against the Brewers, you pick up 2 games in the standings, and you do it by winning each game by 4 or 5 runs, it kind of makes a statement.
Yeah, it does. And I was going to ask you about this because we talked about sustainability earlier. How sustainable is it for the Reds to come back in every single win? Every single win, the Reds are coming back. At some point, that is going to come back to bite them.
I think you make a really, really good point, Elliot, because a lot of times in sports, whether it's, the Bengals, the Reds, I'm using teams that we root for here. Any team. It doesn't matter. Whatever team you root for. When you get to the end of the season and when your team plays the final game, a lot of times what you can do is you can look back and you can say, oh, this team, they had issues here. Like you look at Xavier from this year. They get blown out by Texas in the Sweet 16. They were basically playing 6 guys.
Yep.
How sustainable? Now, in college basketball, it's a little. I won't get all the way down into that, but you can win in the NCAA tournament with 6 guys. Villanova won 2 national championships playing 6 guys. But that wasn't really Xavier's style going into the year when you're missing your leading rebounder and your leading scorer, second leading rebounder and your leading scorer. My point is that you can look back on a season and see where your team had holes and think, oh, it was fun, it was a great ride, but maybe if I had just opened my eyes a little bit, I would have seen that there were these gaping holes in what we are trying to do here, and that maybe things weren't sustainable for the entire year. And that's your point, Elliot, where you say, we don't really have any starting pitching because they're hurt. We keep finding ourselves behind, and to their credit, they keep winning games, but you can't do that all year, or at least we don't think they can do it all year. The bullpen is good, but not great, decent, serviceable, but they need a 5-run lead to feel good about it.
But even the bullpen depth right now, the Reds pitching right now, it's an empty gas. It's a car with an empty gas tank, and right now we're going downhill, and that's great. You don't need gas when you're going downhill. We're still going 60 miles an hour downhill. But eventually that hill is going to shift, and you have to go right back up with no gas left in the tank. And I don't know what there is to fix. We've exhausted the AAA pitching staff. We're now going into AA pitching staff. At some point, we might have to go to the single A pitching staff, and that's going to be an issue. So unless at the deadline you firmly believe this team is going to make a run in the postseason, I don't know what trading a prospect would do for a short-term problem.
I think a lot of the answer here is going to come from answers that we don't know or won't know until maybe the season is over. And I say that in talking about the starting pitching. We're not going to know right away where Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo stand.
Yeah.
But if a week before the deadline, the Reds are a game and a half up, and the lineup is still producing at the level that it's producing right now. And Nick Kroll knows that Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo are both 2 weeks away, maybe August 8th, somewhere in there, that they're both coming back. Graham Ashcraft maybe gets it together a little bit. And then you have Dreamweaver there at the back end.
Yeah, baby.
Brandon Williamson kind of figures it out. Then you say to yourself, okay, now what? We're going to get our guys back. And we're going to look like the best possible version of what the 2023 Reds can look like at that point. Because the Reds will have the lineup that they have curated now, plus potentially anybody that they call up. Doesn't sound like they're interested in calling up CES right now, and he's not even playing all that well at AAA. So you're not going to rush him up. Joey Votto starts really hitting sustainably. I mean, he comes out, hits 3 home runs in his first couple of games. I'm not going to say he's playing the best in the last couple of days, but it's also he's only been here, a week?
Yep.
We're not going to read into anything Joey Votto's doing until he's been here at least through the All-Star break. Got to give Joey Votto at least another 15, 20 games.
Yep.
Give him the month of July against teams that aren't very good. But then when it's nut cutting time and it's August 1st, the trade deadline is passed, you know what you're doing, you know where you are, you know who's coming back from injury. And as long as nothing else happens, knock on wood, and you're rolling with this lineup is going to get you runs. And this lineup has shown that they'll get you runs against teams that matter.
Yeah.
Against teams that are good, against pitchers that are good. I don't have a stat to back that up. I wish I do, but you look at the names on the front of their jerseys. They're winning games that matter.
Yep.
3-3 against teams that matter. Instead of just beating the Royals and everybody else that they beat during the winning streak.
I mean, the Braves won 13 out of 14, and we won a game, the one loss the Braves had, and we had the tying run at base in the other 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, we're competing.
It's very funny in the chat right now. Everybody's saying Sonny Gray and Wade Miley. Reed just said Mike Minor. What if Kroll just runs it back? We just get all the guys back. The whole gang. Castillo, we get him back too, and we'll just run it right back. Wade Miley, Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo.
That whole 2020 pitch.
The whole 20.
You're missing one name.
Well, Trace's guy, but I won't mention him.
You give that pitching staff these bats, we wouldn't have been scoreless against the Braves.
Reed, you're the greatest baseball mind I know.
Yep.
Would you sign Mike Minor?
Right now?
Right now.
What's he doing?
Nothing.
He is a free agent. He is available for signing.
I mean, if he'd take a minor league contract, why not? Here's the
pick
thing. When
5.2
I've been
wins.
talking about getting, contact bats that aren't great, that are cheap and everything like that, when I was saying those takes about the Reds, a guy who never crossed my mind but is exactly the mold that I thought of was Alec Mills. I was like, that is the exact name that I was thinking of. A veteran who has had some success, might have been bad last year, but has had success before. Why not get these guys? The Mike Minors, I guess it's better than what they're doing, right? It's better than throwing Dreamweaver out there and having a 7 ERA every time, because at least these guys have had success in the league before.
Yeah.
6-4 into the All-Star break feels weird to say, because you can't be mad with a winning record, but against the teams you're playing, you got to go 2-3 against the Brewers. I think that's a better way to put it. Go 2-3 against the 2-1. 2-1, sorry.
The Reds have been bad against the Brewers too, and that's
they got to turn the tide. They got to turn that narrative around at some point.
And if there's ever a team that's going to do that, it's this team. You look at some of the wins we've had, last night included. When you blow a 3-run lead, when this Reds franchise has blown a 3-run lead in a game, that's not a game you win. That's a loss always. And you look like half these wins this season. Again, compared to the Bengals, the Joe Burrow year of 2021, was that right? It's just starting to feel magic. It's just magical right now.
I mean, Friday night, that game against the Braves, we were down 5 runs in the first inning, and I didn't turn the TV off.
Never again.
Usually, the Reds get down 5 runs, I'm turning the TV off. Like, this is new.
I don't know. If there's ever a year to start breaking the mold of teams past, of what's happened with under the Castellini ownership, it's this team. It's this group of guys.
Is it fair to draw comparisons? You guys keep talking about the Super Bowl year for the Bengals. Is it fair to draw the comparisons with the fact that the Bengals had a very clear and very threatening flaw in the team in the fact that Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times a game and they still won? And you could say the same about the Reds right now. They've got a very clear and very threatening flaw in the fact that they give up 6-7 runs a game, but they just still win. Is it fair to draw the comparisons between the two teams?
Very similar.
Yeah. And I think MLB it's just different the way it's played towards the end of the season. I think it's going to bite us hard at some point in August, where there's going to be a stretch where I think Reds Twitter will break in August.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I'm glad you brought this up. I'm really glad you brought this up because this was a topic I wanted to get to, and we have a lot of people watching right now. Is Reds Twitter – I'm very new to, like, I've been following the Reds for a long time, but actually following the fan base on Twitter, I'm newer to it in the last year or two. Is Reds Twitter the most reactionary fan base on Twitter? Just on Twitter, because every fan base is reactionary. But I have never seen so many people on Twitter who will write the game off early when we know what this team does coming back night in and night out. The negativity I see on my timeline in the first and second inning, it wears me out.
Yeah, it's brutal.
To know, like, your video last night, Elliot, where you're in the car or whatever you were doing. I don't know if you were in a massage chair or if you were in the car or what you were doing with your hair flowing lusciously in the wind. I have no idea what you were doing. That little tuft of hair.
I try to copy read.
But my goodness, it feels to me like you just take a step back and you think about what this team has done and you think, hey, maybe let's not write off this game 5 minutes into it. The Reds score 3 runs in the first inning, right?
Yep.
The Reds are winning the World Series. Dreamweaver comes out and gives up 4 runs. Reds are losing 4-3. And
The sky is
and you might as well sell at the deadline. The Reds are winning whatever they're winning, 7-4 in the top of the 9th inning. Reds are going to win 2 games in a row. They're going to go 3-3 against the Braves and the Orioles. World Series is back on. Give up 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning. It's all on David Bell. Reds come out, score 4 runs in the top of the 10th inning. Guess what? You might want to be buyers at the deadline again. I mean, look, I live my life on Twitter. If you know me, I live my life on Twitter. My life exists through a screen on that Bluebird app. Nobody is more intimately familiar with that website than me. I know how it works. I have followed dozens of different fan bases over the years with teams that I've worked for, teams that I've followed, teams that I've rooted for, teams that I've rooted against. I know how fan bases work. It's sports. That's part of the fun of it. But also, like, is it not worth it to be a little measured and tapered sometimes? It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the Reds Twitter broke when Krall blew it up in 21. Yes. So that's when just Reds Twitter just was disintegrated. The unity,
you have all the different factions now.
Yeah, it was just destroyed. And I was on, if I'm going to be completely honest, I was on the side of I hate Nick Krall. I hate the Castellinis. The Castellinis are the worst owners in the sport. I was on their side. I have been proven wrong, and I admit that. What Nick Krall has done has been nothing short of miraculous. I mean, that guy is a hero. Truthfully, he is a hero for what he's done, for the plan that they have in place right now. And you can buy a shirt right now, Krall Aid, soon. You can buy that shirt very soon.
You can buy it now.
You buy it now?
Well, we're going to pitch it in just a second. Finish your point.
Okay.
I don't want to get
Finish
derailed.
my point. Krall Aid. Go buy the shirt.
It's pinned in the chat.
Go buy the shirt. Krall Aid. Great shirt. Or the Harambe one's my favorite, but go ahead. Anyway, you look at what this team, and again, I'm going to stop comparing to the Bengals at some point. It's the same. The tides are shifting back to where we can trust the ownership. And again, I don't want to be that way, and I think so many fans are in the place where they feel like they can't trust ownership, and rightfully so. The Castellinis have objectively failed as owners of the Cincinnati Reds. They failed. And you go to the ballpark. I love going to the ballpark. They've done great with the Reds Community Fund. I think the ballpark experience at Great American is one of the best in Major League Baseball. I love going to Great American Ballpark on a Tuesday night. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. It will always be my favorite thing to do. But there is that distrust of the ownership. You know they're not going to spend money, and you know they haven't won anything. And that's just truth. They haven't won anything, ever. Not even close. They've never been close to winning anything. And I think that's where the disconnect is. And you see little things like, oh, Luke Weaver's being trotted out there again and again and again and again and again. And he's given up 7 runs again and again and again. And it's like, why aren't we doing anything? Change it. And there is still that distrust in the city, which I think is more than fair. I think it should absolutely be discussed how the Castellinis affect. Before the season, our owner ruled us out because he said half the teams don't try. He said half the teams don't try in Major League Baseball on opening day. So Reds fans should just be okay with it. That's what Phil Castellini said. So it's not like I think I think you're right to a point where Reds fans are just eating themselves up here, and they're just being negative all the time and nonstop. But there's just so much distrust. I think if we go all in at the deadline, maybe not all in. Let me rephrase. They don't trade any top prospects, but if they go in, if they attempt, the Reds fan will be unified again. I think that's what it takes.
I am not. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge member of Bengals Twitter. Like I would say my Bengals Twitter experience happens during the season. A lot of it is follow during the season and immediately unfollow as soon as the Bengals lose their last game or win the Super Bowl. As soon as the season's over.
Yep.
Because I just can't take it day in and day out. Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it an overlap of the same where it's basically a city that has been tortured forever that now has some taste of success and the expectations are in flux? I don't even want to get into that. I don't even mean that. I mean literally on a game-to-game basis, inning-to-inning basis. I don't even mean on the big level. I don't even mean on the scale of the season. I don't even mean game-to-game almost. I mean literally in the game, whether it's the Bengals drive to drive or whether it's the Reds inning to inning or decision to decision. I feel like we are in a place as fans, sports fans in 2023. You can disagree with me with this, but I will argue this forever. Sports fans right now are better than they have ever been, smarter than they have ever been. There's not as many, because I was just reading the article on I forget where it was the other day, talking about the percentages of and this is not generational warfare. This is just stats, because I'm part of the generation that we're all part of this. That just now with social media and everything, people just in general don't care about sports as much as they used to in the 1960s and 70s. But sports fans and the people that really care about it right now know more, care more, and are smarter about what they are talking about than ever. Because you have stats, you have the internet, you have discussion like this to back it up day in and day out. I just don't understand why when Dreamweaver gives up 4 runs in the first inning in Baltimore on June 28th, like the Twitter sphere just melts down when there's 8 innings left in the game and the Reds have proven all season that is how they win games. Now the Orioles have also done that. The Orioles are right there with the Reds and come from behind wins. But just take a deep breath. Just enjoy the game and don't let yourself get so caught up in the pitch-to-pitch minutia of baseball. You'll drive yourself nuts.
It's the Frank the Tank effect. I think it's what it is. The Frank the Tank effect, where you just freak out over every little thing and exaggerate everything.
Frank the Tank, banging the table for Jonathan India to be a Met.
Yeah, Jacob, way to go, guy.
Frank the Tank officially watches off the bench.
He does. That's confirmed. Frank the Tank. Paul, you're a Xavier guy. I'm a UC guy. We're all Reds and Bengals guys. Which fan base do you think during a game is the craziest?
Craziest?
Yeah. Overreacting, blaming people.
I think it's the Bengals.
You think it's the Bengals?
Because I think it's the Bengals because they understand that the game means more. The Bengals losing a game means more than Xavier or UC or the Reds losing a game because there's just plain and simply fewer games. So after the Bengals lost the first 2 games last year, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, hey, you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of the generation. Maybe things are going to be all right. But you also then see the stat that says what was the low percentage of teams that have lost their first 2 games and then gone on to make the playoffs? Like, there is stats like that to back you up. I would say reactionary, though. I would probably go with the Bengals. What would be your answer?
I think it's the Bengals or the Reds, but as of right now, I think I'm going to go the Bengals. I think the Bengals
expectations have hurt the Bengals Twitter
true.
fan base.
That's true. Bengals fans, though, last season after the loss to Pittsburgh, Game 1, when McPherson was whiffing extra points because we didn't have a holder, I think that was like an all-time...
Or a long snapper.
Or a long snapper. That was an all-time low. I think that was one of the all-time lows for Bengals fans. Just being like, this season's over. You got to beat Pittsburgh. We don't have a long snapper. It's like, yeah, I would agree with you.
I'm pretty entrenched in both Bengals and Reds Twitter. Bengals Twitter it gets darker than Reds Twitter gets. Like, yeah, Reds Twitter, most of the time the negativity is based around the Reds. A lot of times you see Bengals Twitter with Bengals fans, getting into it with other fans and stuff, and I don't like all that. Bengals Twitter gets dark every now and then.
Casey, you're well entrenched now in Bengals Twitter and all of this, and I think you're starting to get into the Reds and everything else. Do you have an opinion on all of this?
Football fans in general, I think, just have a more tendency to overreact, just for the simple fact that there's not as many games. I mean, that goes for not just professional football either, but college football as well. Like, yeah, you lose one game in college football, it's the end of the world. If you play bad and you still win the game, it's the end of the world because you can't win the next game. So it's, yeah, I would say football in general is the one that overreacts the most.
Reed?
Yeah, I mean, I think just football fans are more reactive because it is so important 1 week at a time. Reds Twitter, it's funny, Jacob said that Reds fans oftentimes don't get in it with other fan bases. I would disagree, but I started it. But it is fair to say. I don't know. I think fan bases are all the same. I truly think that I have yet to distinguish a difference in any fan base except for you hate fan bases that win more. They're all the same. They'll always act the same. It's just a matter of how much success and how cocky a fan base can be because of that success and how much they're playing keep up. The phrase, they're a good fan base, probably just means that they're a losing franchise.
Yeah, I think when you look at fans these days and fans that have access to so much information, whether it's because that there are more people covering the teams, there are more ways to cover the teams, there's more intimacy with the players that you want to get to know and to learn to respect or trust on the field, whatever it might be, because there's a social media director that's taken a behind-the-scenes video or whatever it might be. You have so many ways now to get in tune with the players and with who you're following that by the time the season rolls around and you're playing games that you might win, you might lose, but you're not so overreactive to one game. Like Mouse Cop points out in the chat, the problem with Reds Twitter is that if you lose one game, you think it's a 10-game skid. I will allow a little bit to the Reds fan base that says, like what Elliot was saying before, there are a lot of holes in this team. This is not a perfect team. This is not the Mets. Not that the Mets were a perfect team, but they spent the money that would justify a perfect team.
Yep.
The Reds are not the Mets. The Reds are not out there trying to win at the level that the Mets were trying to win this year and spending the money that the Mets were trying to win this year, and then all of a sudden finding themselves in a situation now where they're up a half game in the division on June 29th, and you think to yourself, oh, if only you won this game.
Yep.
Or if only you'd have played better in this situation. If only they wouldn't have taken so-and-so out at this point in this game at this inning. It just gets very frustrating to me where I have a firm stance. I never block people on Twitter. Unless it's like harassment, I don't know if I've ever blocked anybody on Twitter that I've blocked plenty of spam accounts that get in your replies, but I don't know if I've ever blocked a real person on Twitter, because my stance is I mute you, because then what you're going to do is you're going to tweet at me and it's just going to go into oblivion because I'm never going to see it. And then that's just worse for you. And I don't mute people a lot. There are a few, but I don't mute people a lot.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
There was a pitcher in this Orioles-Reds series that has me blocked. He plays for the Orioles. He's a relief pitcher.
Do you want to just say who it is?
It's Cionel Perez. Now, Cionel Perez has me blocked, and I was probably too harsh on him because he was very, very, very bad as a Cincinnati Red. Very bad.
He was horrible.
Very bad. And I probably said some unkind things to him. I probably said, you suck and get out of my city. I probably said that. I didn't mean it. I'm a fan. We're all dumb, silly fans. We get personal. Maybe we shouldn't be as personal and personally attached to these players as we are. So CNL, if you're watching this, and I know you are, I apologize, and I'd like to be unblocked. I really like to be unblocked. I think that would be a good way to mend our friendship.
I don't want to speak for you here, but
Yeah.
you're probably thankful for CNL's most recent outing against the Reds.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. CNL stinks.
I have never came across a Twitter account that I've been blocked by. I'm sure there's something out there, but I've never got on someone's profile and be like, oh,
I've got two of them. I won't say the other one, but CNL Perez.
I'm sure dozens of people have muted me recently. But.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that I've been blocked by either. I've never clicked on somebody's profile.
Paul's Big J. Paul's a Big J
Big
journalist.
J.
He's not getting blocked by anybody.
Reed,
I could see Reed getting blocked by a couple.
I'm
people.
sure there's someone out there that's blocked. I got blocked by a lot of people on Vine.
On Vine.
Back
Vine?
when Vine. Oh yeah.
Vine.
That's where the trolling started.
I
Vine.
could see Casey as a big troll. Casey, are you blocked by people? I think Casey might be the most trollable person
At
here.
Seabox Casey is not blocked by anyone.
Ever.
Casey's burner.
Yeah, but I see Casey's email handle when I've sent myself an email, and I don't know, man. He's got some burner names up in his mind there. I think Casey might be going on the internet trolling people.
Well, no one knows what my burner account is on here, so.
Nice.
But confirmed, you have a burner.
I have a burner in the chat.
You have a burner in the chat
we all
too?
do.
I don't. I'm an honest guy.
I also don't have a burner in the chat.
Jacob, yes. Paul, I know Paul doesn't have one.
Paul just has 6 Paul Fritschner accounts.
Paul does not have one.
Paul does have one burner that has not been active in the chat in a long time. It was very active in the beginning when we needed to get the chat off the ground.
Yeah.
And that burner was active. It hasn't been active in a long time. It also changed his name, so if you go back and
Paul might be the one running Barstool Cincinnati, aka the worst Twitter account.
Oh, I would never be caught dead. I wouldn't be caught dead.
As a UC fan, that Twitter account needs to be shut down. And that Twitter account stinks.
It's not good.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. All right, I am going to step away for just a second here and get to the advertisements. Also, make sure you guys pub what's linked in the chat.
Mr. President?
Take it away.
It's that time of the show, the Ham and Eggers. These guys are great, trust me, I would know. I introduce all the best segments.
Thank you, DT47. We were just talking about Bengals Twitter. So the Bengals Report is brought to you by Encore Technologies. Encore Technologies provides IT solutions for a data center world with a suite of services from mobile computing to desktop to data centers, supporting both centralized and work-from-home computing models to improve efficiency and productivity. Visit encore.tech. The path to innovation begins here. Before I get into this Pawnee read that I've been working hard for the majority of this show, I do want to say thank you to the Super Chat. Brandon Thomas gave us a $20 Super Chat. It was a sticker. It was very nice of him. And also pinned in the chat is Chatterbox Night. So if you guys want to be a part of Chatterbox Night, that is July 17th, go on our website. There's merch there. You can look at it. I believe you have to – there's different ways to get there. It's all on the website, so check it out there. So yesterday when we were out at lunch – Paul, I asked the question, what is the most popular hip-hop song of all time? And I threw out the song from Biggie Smalls, Juicy. And I just thought it was a good answer. Paul found out that Paul has never heard Biggie Smalls' Juicy, which as an American, I don't even know how that's possible, but he played the song, he never heard it. So, this ad read is dedicated to the best tasting water in the world, a local company helping out a small media group when we were just trying to make enough money to feed a pair of golden retrievers. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. Baby! It was all Pawnee. I used to drink Dasani.
Oh, no.
Fiji and Smart water up in Tom's limousine.
Oh, no.
Knowing, putting Aquafina in the fridge. Knowing darn well that all that water was mid. I know that hydration is king. Alkaline beating regular in clinical studies. Used to drink tap way back in the glass. Ice
Oh, no.
with the glass. Remember hydration? The king of health? You never thought that natural limestone would take that belt? Now we talking Pawnee made right across the drink. Time to take a drink. Clunk, clunk, clink, clink. Made better. Only one ingredient in the bottle. Time to take your health up a throttle. Shout out best water in the world. PAHHNI. That's who? Yeah. Find them in a store near you. And if you don't know, now you know. Casey?
That was beautiful, Reed.
Thanks.
That was beautiful.
Thanks.
I love it.
I'm disgusted.
You've been working on that for
Did you listen to
an
that?
hour now, and that was amazing.
I tried my best. That was DJ Mousetrap. Hasn't been on a track in quite some time. But it was the best I could do. Paul, have you listened to Juicy since we had that conversation tomorrow?
That's a no. That's a resounding no.
No. The answer's no. The answer is no. The answer is no. Yeah. It's look, there are a lot of things I would never claim to be, and that's not one of them. Well, this chat is just off the rails.
Yeah, I saw Mouse's comment. Mouse kind of.
Oh, no.
Mouse broke me.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh, the whole chat is.
The
Oh
chat
my.
was not fond of that bit.
No,
Oh
that
my.
was a bad bit.
Oh my. Oh my.
That was a bad bit. That's a bad bit.
I think
man.
the execution was terrible. I think if you give me enough tries at that rap,
no,
I think
no,
it can
no.
get
I don't
better.
think Biggie could have pulled that off, Reed.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
I mean, that was just the very worst.
Wow. That's a yikes. I'll have to go back and listen to that.
No, you don't.
No?
Yeah, we do.
Wait,
it'll be
Paul,
on,
go
it'll
back
be on
and
Twitter
play it
later.
right now. We can replay it. Right now. We can redo that whole ad.
Ronnie Smith said, never do that again.
We
That's fair.
We could play the game of ask Paul the movie and has Paul seen
Has
the
Paul
movie?
seen the
Has
movie?
Paul seen the movie? That would go over real well. I'd show my true stripes.
I just don't understand how you haven't heard the song Juicy. Have you ever heard Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Evan wants it again.
I like
Oh, hey, you might as well Reed. Wait, I was out of the room. You want to do it again?
Let's do it again.
I'm all right.
Better execution this time. Here we go.
1,
Count 'em
2,
down.
3.
Blackmore 19 said, hell no, stick to the short shorts.
Maybe you know what you needed? You needed the actual
Ronnie's
soundtrack behind you.
Timeout.
to get-
Ronnie dropped that he is 90s hip hop. He said, bro, I am 90s hip hop. Don't do that anymore.
Well,
He is 90s hip hop.
Then you better
90s
listen to
hip hop
him.
in the chat today. Wow.
That's incredible.
Don't listen. Don't. Yeah.
Jacob,
Don't do it.
you're a culture man. Who's your favorite 90s hip hop artist?
I don't know. I'm not a huge hip hop guy in general, so I'll probably make a fool out of myself.
NWA.
That'd be 80s,
Damn.
but
Tupac.
I'm a Biggie over Tupac guy. I also like Andre 3000 from Outkast. I think Outkast is the most underrated.
Greatest duo
90s.
of all time.
Yeah, I think they're the most underrated, like, classic rap group. Because they were great. Andre, Big Boy.
Coolio.
They won Best New Artist the year that either Tupac or Biggie could have won it. Outkast won it. Just remember that.
Pretty sure we could have this conversation with Rick tomorrow. I think that was Rick's style.
I'm really
Ooh, I
excited.
forgot about Doggy Style. Snoop Dogg was great.
Snoop
Great album.
Dogg is very good. People don't like Snoop Dogg because of his little bit with Martha Stewart. I love Snoop Dogg.
Is that why?
Big lighters can do anything.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But I love Snoop Dogg. Reed hates Eminem.
I do not like Eminem. I think Eminem stinks.
That's a bad take there.
Yeah.
I think Eminem stinks.
He's the most sold rap artist of all time. I think he has the best song, #1 rap song of all time.
Okay, does that make
Yes.
Avatar the greatest movie of all time?
It's not the highest #1, isn't it?
It was for a decade.
But it's not now.
I mean, what are we
But it's
what are
not
we
now.
talking about here?
It's not now, is it?
Okay.
Reed.
Why do you write songs? To sell them.
Jacob gets it.
I don't think that's necessarily true for everyone that writes songs. Yeah, you want to make a career out of that, but you also want to feed art into the world. Make something beautiful. Speak on behalf of people.
What about Jay-Z? You like Jay-Z?
I don't know enough of Jay-Z. I'll be honest.
I don't
Because
know
he's
enough-
considered one of the greats, and
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Jay-Z. I know he's great.
And if you don't have Tidal, you can't listen to him until very recently.
Yeah.
I like Jordan Earhart. Avatar is sort of mid. I mean, it stinks.
No,
Right, he's like Eminem.
What?
Avatar
sucks.
is
It's
Eminem.
awful.
Avatar's Eminem.
It's so bad. What do you
That's
you
a-
like
that-
the
that
movie?
take-
Avatar
That
is
take
one
is
of
really
the
bad.
best movies. It's in my probably top 10 of movies. I love Avatar.
What do you like about it?
It's incredible. The visuals are amazing. It's an incredible movie. I was at the second one. I saw the second one 3 times in theaters. It's a 3-hour-long movie.
That's crazy.
Oh, Avatar.
That's a little nuts.
Avatar
That's
movies.
that is
that's
nuts.
I love the Avatar movies.
That is
Unbelievable.
not. It's so
No,
bad.
no,
The
that
only
was a
good
little
thing
too
anybody.
much.
It's so bad.
I own that Avatar movie on Amazon because I watch it so often. Unbelievable movie.
The only good thing anyone's ever said about Avatar is it looks good. Like when you like the CGI.
But I don't even know if it looks good. It looked good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what matters.
I've seen Avatar multiple times. I don't know the characters' names.
Oh, I love
That's
Avatar,
it.
man. Yeah.
What is the main character's name for everyone besides Jake?
It's
I
that
have
one.
no idea.
Yeah, it's that one.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
I mean,
Sully, right?
Yeah, Jake Sully.
Jake Sully.
No, he flew the plane in the
That's
river.
the main character of Avatar.
No, that was the guy who flew the plane in the New Jersey River.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And he had a movie named after
Jake
him.
Sully.
A more
That's-
famous Sully.
Sully. Okay, we're glad we got this back on track.
I can't believe Avatar.
Do you like the
getting
plot of the
hate here.
movie? Do you like or is it just the visuals? Like, what do
Yeah,
you like
most
about
of
it?
the visuals. But that's what I'm watching a movie for.
The story?
The visuals is 65% of the movie.
Not true.
That's
In a
not-
high CGI movie like
Not
that?
true.
Oh, I
Dialogue is
disagree.
the majority of the movie.
I disagree.
Correct, Reed.
That's why Quentin Tarantino's great.
Correct, Reed.
Not a huge Tarantino guy.
Ooh.
Okay, well then what are we doing? Then what are we doing?
Elliot, Tarantino, or Nolan?
I've never had to defend Avatar.
This is a wild take.
I've
I've
never had
never
to
heard
defend
anybody.
Avatar.
Tarantino, but if I'm going to be honest, I love Christopher Nolan. I like watching Christopher Nolan's movies more, but I still think Tarantino's better.
Nolan's my favorite, for sure.
What did Avatar rip off? It was it's basically this. It's just
Well, just an alien movie. They're just all blue.
no, it's basically like Dances with Wolves, right?
Well,
Like
yeah.
with Kevin Costner. It's basically Dances
Yeah.
with Wolves.
No, there's a movie.
Except he's like in a dream, right? He's like they're like. I still don't understand how it works. How is he with the aliens, but he's not with the aliens, right?
Fantastic ride at Disney World, by the way.
Is it?
Avatar is, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nice. It is a good ride.
I like Avatar, the one on Cartoon Network.
Oh, that
The
one's
Last
great,
Airbender?
too.
Yeah, The Last Airbender.
Great
Oh my
series.
God!
All
I
time.
can't
Great
let that. Time out. I can't let that. I can't let that fall. Avatar. I am a huge Avatar fan. I think it is quite possibly the second greatest cartoon ever, maybe third. I would probably put South Park and SpongeBob above it. But you said on Cartoon Network.
I don't know what it was on. Nickelodeon?
It was not on Cartoon Network. You said I am a huge Avatar fan. The one that was on Cartoon Network.
Sorry.
I'm
And
a
it-
huge Batman fan, the one that's on Marvel. What are we talking about?
Sorry. I liked Ed, and Eddie. That was there.
That was on Cartoon Network.
Codename Kids Next Door. That was there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
great theme
Foster's
song.
Home for Imaginary Friends was a good one too.
Yep. What? Coward, the Courage.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, that one.
Back to sports, Ronnie Smith says.
Oh, back to sports.
Back to sports.
Get
Well, we
back
got
on it.
plenty of sports
Yeah,
coming
so
up
back
with
to
Tracy
sports.
Jones.
Ed, and Eddie. I think they had an episode where they kicked the soccer ball once. I think that was my sport. But I love Cartoon Network. Good show. Good programming.
I was never Cartoon Network. I did.
You're weird.
I did Nick and
You're
Disney.
a weird. You're a
was a
weird guy.
Nickelodeon
I
guy.
did Nick.
you know-
and, I
you
did
guys-
Nick
you guys
and
know-
Disney.
Avatar on Netflix, right? The
Yes.
the live action. I'm pumped
Yes.
for that.
I'm pumped for that too.
I've just never gotten into like the animated.
Paul was the kid, and I have a friend who was this exact same way. At like 8 years old, he was just like watching highlights, and that was all he was doing. He would wake up, he'd write an article, he'd write it for his dad in a newspaper, in a fake newspaper, and he'd write like something about like, oh, what did the Muskies do tonight? And that was Paul's childhood. And then he didn't listen to music in the car either.
I don't think you could have described my childhood any more perfectly.
I was a sports guy growing up, but I was always into the. And Casey knows this. I was a nerd. I was in Glee Club. I was in musicals. I love that stuff.
You know what I was? realistically,
What?
I was always outside. Like I would come home from school. I was always outside. Like in the summer, I was just I never turned on even sports highlights. Like I watched the Nats games, or before then it was, the Reds or whoever it was. I would watch the games, but I was just never inside watching TV. Like, and when people say like, Paul, what movies have you seen or haven't seen or music or whatever, it's like, I was just outside playing sports all the time.
Yeah.
It's basketball, baseball in the summer, whatever it was, just outside. I was just never watching TV.
Paul Fritschner outside in Virginia in January.
Yeah.
Outside 24/7.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was like, yeah, that's just kind of how it rolled. I don't know. Is that bad? Is that a bad thing?
No.
No, absolutely.
Kids need
not.
to be
We
inside
all played
more.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never had any interest in sitting down and spending hours watching shows, TV. I don't know.
Everybody wants sports. Everybody wants you to get back
It
to
is-
sports.
Well,
and there's no greater athlete than the guy coming up
don't
next.
worry, because we have the greatest Cincinnati athlete of all time on the show right now, and that's Tracy Jones. Tracy, how are you today?
Good, Paul. So you went outside. You were outside all the time playing sports, and you still suck. All that practice. And you still,
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Why? Yeah, I'm sitting here. Yeah. Yeah, not very
you know
good.
what? Here's what my mom used to say: go outside and play. Go outside and play. I never spent time in the house. First of all, I grew up in a 1,200 square foot home with 6 people and 1 bathroom. So being outside was, and we always had great weather. I know you poor bastards, it's always raining or snowing and the sun's never out in Cincinnati. In Southern California, in case you guys don't know this, it's usually about 78 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. We don't have this smog or fog or smoke or whatever we have. I can't even see.
Builds character. It builds character, Tracy. It builds character.
It's ridiculous. Hey, big weekend. Big weekend.
Huge
right?
weekend, Tracy. It's finally here. It's like we've been talking about Casey's wedding forever, talking about the Taylor Swift weekend. It's all coming here.
And here's the deal, and I want to compliment you, Paul. Last time I was on the show, you called me a Swiftie. I am a Swiftie. If I had walk-up music, it would be Taylor Swift. If I was playing nowadays, it'd be Taylor Swift. It would either be the song Me or Style. One of those 2 songs I would have as my walk-up music.
Really?
You know those songs?
Absolutely.
Know those songs? Yeah.
I wouldn't
So
expect
I
any
have
other song from you, honestly. If you're going to pick songs from her, I wouldn't expect any others.
All kidding aside, I did see Taylor Swift. I told you guys, I saw her probably 15 years ago at Nationwide. She was opening up for Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And she was very good. I like her. I like her. I'm a Swiftie.
Wait, hold on. We got it. I'm just making. You know what I'm doing, Tracy? I'm making sure that everybody in the studio is included, and I'm making sure the ham and eggers over to my left. Have you met Elliot and Jacob? Have you guys been?
Yes, I have.
Have you guys all been introduced? Say hi to Tracy.
Well, I know. Elliot, were you actually in the geek squad or geek club? What was that? A geek
The
club?
Glee Club.
Glee Club, Tracy. Yeah, we sang songs, man.
Wow, that's really cool.
Tracy, I worked at 700 WLW. I never got to see you, but I would run Brenneman and Jones all the time.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yes, I was a 700 guy.
He was your ham and egger at 700.
No, we got a bunch of good guys there at 700 WLW. What are you guys doing for 4th of July? What did you guys got parties to go to?
So Taylor Swift. Lizzie and I are going on Friday night to Taylor Swift, and then we are waking up Saturday morning and driving to New Jersey. My cousin is getting married next week out on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I'm actually going to California July 4th, first class. Of course, I'm flying. Do you know this? We don't have fireworks in California. We have light shows. We have light shows. You're not allowed to have fireworks in California.
Does that upset you? Would you rather have fireworks? Does that upset you?
Well, when I was a kid, like I said, we were really poor. So we would just get sparklers. My dad would bring a box of sparklers. We didn't get like the cabin that smoked or those little snakes that you put on the sidewalk and they make a stain. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things. We never had fireworks. When I was a teenager, they outlawed fireworks. This is a true story. You couldn't even have sparklers in Southern California. You know what sparklers are, right?
Oh yeah. It's a tradition. Who doesn't know what sparklers are?
No sparklers. And so I'm a little jealous because you guys get, M80s, cherry bombs, Roman candles. You guys got all that stuff. So it's
firing
very
it
cool
off.
that you guys. But I worry about the kids. That's an adult thing. But you get kids. I don't know if you guys were ones that would light off the fireworks, but that's a dangerous thing. A lot of fingers have.
I was gonna say, you lose a finger.
Yeah. So it's
But yeah,
it's a great time.
big weekend. Tracy, I'm surprised. I don't know if you saw the tweets from the local news. I'm surprised you weren't out in the merch line.
Maybe he
from
was.
8:00 last night.
Maybe he was covered in the blanket.
Yeah, true.
I heard she's putting $75 million into the local economy. If you can come up with that figure. I don't know how they come up with that figure. But this is a big deal. I mean, a big deal. And just so much what's happening in music. What about poor Madonna? Now she's in the hospital.
Oh, I saw that. Is she okay?
I hope so. She's another one I look up to, Madonna.
You ever met her?
No, I haven't met her. I if Madonna came in here right now, I'd tell her to get the hell out. I'm not a big Madonna fan. She's one of those libertards. So yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of Madonna. Hey, can I ask you a question about the whole thing here in Cincinnati? And you guys do this, and I know the Ham and Eggers can kind of chime in on this. The hillbilly thing. When you guys, I used to have a party at my place to watch the fireworks on 4th of July. I have one of the best views in the city.
Naturally.
It's very nice, overlooks the city. But when I had my party at my place, I catered it from Walt's Hitching Post. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Walt's Hitching Post. It's my favorite restaurant in the tri-state.
You can get the Tracy Jones.
The Tracy Jones bone and ribeye is the best steak, but I would have it catered. I'd have waiters that would serve. I had even someone playing the guitar. It was kind of a big deal. I went to a party a couple years ago here in Cincinnati, and it's weird because you people, it's like bring your own booze, right? In your cooler, you come, you bring, and you just bring enough for yourself. You don't even bring enough to share. And I thought that was really strange because when I have a party, I pay for everything. I provide the food, the alcohol. But when you guys come, you guys bring your own booze. And I just thought that was really strange.
Well, it's like a potluck of alcohol.
Yeah, but you don't have enough to share. It's just for you guys. Like you.
Do you think Do you think we can afford to be sharing with everybody else? Do you think we have that kind of money?
Well, I mean, then you should. That person who's having that party should supply the food and the drink. That's just one thing. Or you can't have a party. But I'm sure you and Casey and Reed, all the guys show up with their 6-pack of old Milwaukee's ready to party down. But if you're going to show up to a party, bring more beer than 6. I mean, bring enough to share. And you guys don't do that here in Cincinnati.
What's your beer, Tracy?
Oh, I don't drink beer. No, I've graduated from that. I just drink Grey Goose. Yeah, none of that. None of the Bud Light. Not even. Yeah, none of that. No beer. Makes you fat.
Reed, go ahead.
Tracy, so if I pulled up to your estate there in Bellevue, Kentucky, with a 30-rack of the Beast, Milwaukee's Best Light, which of course is the greatest beer on the market, you wouldn't share a single beverage with me? Are you too California, too highfalutin to share a beer with me?
Well, first of all, Reed, if you pulled up to my place, you wouldn't get past the doorman. My doorman, William, does not let people in unless you live or you have a special pass. But I would probably go out to the car and share an Old Milwaukee. I used to drink Old Milwaukee when I was a brokey. So yeah, I can drink an Old Milwaukee. It just goes straight to my gut, and I don't like that. I like to keep trim and fit in shape.
The Grey Goose.
Great,
You look great, Tracy.
You really do.
You don't look a day over 30.
No, I thought you were going to say I'm 62, going on 63. I thought you were going to say 60.
Nah, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, that's trying to be. Hey, just on a baseball thing.
Yeah, I was going to get into that.
Joey Votto is a friggin' lightning rod in this city. I mean, it's really kind of cruel because I'm in these chat rooms and I don't say anything because if people knew I was in there, they'd start hammering me. But I just hear, or I'm reading the stuff that they say about Joey Votto. Either you like him, love him, or you hate him. There's really no middle of the road for Joey Votto. I mean, he goes 0 for 6 last night, and you thought it was the end of the world for Joey Votto. I just think it's really tough to sit there and read things like that. I could have never played today. I couldn't have read stuff like that on the internet and not address it. I'd be fighting everybody in 2 seconds. I'd be challenging people to fight. And I couldn't take it. I find myself defending Joey Votto. You know what I mean? Like sticking up for him. But I got to slow it down. You can't just throw things out there because I'll get.
I don't know if you heard our conversation right before you came on, but we were talking about fan bases on Twitter and social media and everything, and how reactionary a lot of fan bases are now to just sports in general, because you have the opportunity to just say whatever you want because you're on Twitter or you're on Facebook, you're in comment sections, whatever it might be, you're in chat rooms. Whatever you're doing, you're just so reactionary. And Joey Votto last week hits 2 home runs in a game. Everybody loves him. They build a statue for him. Then he goes 0 for 6 in a game, and you might as well just DFA him. And it's so reactionary night in, night out, that it gets frustrating and gets tiring.
That's a great word. It gets tiring.
Every once in a while, Tracy, a ham and egger gets one right.
I want you people to understand how tough it is to be one of us, a major leaguer. You have a better chance. You have a better chance of hitting the lottery than playing in the major leagues. It's a little tough. It's a little tough to hit 100 mile an hour, the ball moving all over the place. Just take a look at the back of Joey Votto's card. But for people to sit there and take shots at him, and the thing, and I understand it's sports, and they have the right to do that, but I don't like the front running. Let me give you an example of a front runner. Is my wife. My wife is now a huge Reds fan. She don't give a rat's ass the last 15 years that the Reds won or lost. We're listening to the game the other night, right? And we're sitting there, and she turns to me and goes, boy, I really want to go to a Reds game. I really think this team's got a chance to win it all. I says, oh, really? What about the pitching? They've got great position ball players. So we're listening to the game, and she goes, boy, and Friel is really having a good year. I turned to her and go, that's Friedel. Friel hasn't played in 12 years. She says, I thought he played for a long time, but so it's Friedel? See, that's what I'm saying. She's jumping in.
Oh, she thought it was Ryan Friel?
Yeah, she thought it was Ryan Friel. Was he 50? I mean, and I liked Ryan a lot. We actually had some beers back when I drank beers, and he committed suicide, which was very sad. Really, you guys would love Friel. But here's my wife thinking Friedel is Friel. I mean, what kind of fan is that? It's kind of embarrassing.
What's your take on bandwagon fans, Tracy? Because there's one side of the coin where people would say it's sports, it's just great to enjoy the ride and have fun, and then there's the other people that say, well, you're just coming on when things are going well, but you don't really know what's going on when the Reds are losing 100 games like they were last year. What's your take? Seriously, what's your take as a player, as somebody that was around, 5 major league teams?
I played for 5 major league teams.
5 major league teams.
How rare that is.
So what's your take on that?
I'm going to say something, and you people are really going to get upset about this, but this is true. Fans care more about winning and losing than the players do, if you can believe that. I know that's really hard to believe. When I was a kid growing up I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm from Southern California. And I used to be big Ram fans or Angel fans or Laker fans. But when the Rams would lose to the Minnesota Vikings, I would sometimes slam the door. I was probably 8, 9 years old and start crying because my team lost. I mean, I was a huge fan. And my dad walked in the room one day and he says, Trace, I know you're upset. The Rams blew it again. He says, but let me ask you a question. With the Rams, what's in it for you? What's in it for you if they win? And, that affected me the rest of my life because I thought, here he is telling a 9-year-old kid, what's in it for you? And I was never close to the same fan because I would live and die with the teams like they do here in Cincinnati. But the question my dad asked, what's in it for you? And I think it's a great question. I would ask Reds fans, what's in it for you?
So you're not in the bandwagon camp, or you are, or what?
No, I like to. No, I watch the team. I root for the team, but I don't live and die watching Reds baseball or Bengals football. And some people do. And I'm thinking, I couldn't get into it. I was involved with the ball clubs when I was 8 years old. But now that I got older and I'm into other things, I'm not, it doesn't make my day if they win or lose. But I like watching them, and I like watching what they're going to do as far as getting pitching. I can make an argument to buy, sell, or to hold. I can make all three of those arguments for this organization. This is a really tough call for the Reds. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do.
Tracy, how many hits did you have in your first 100 at-bats as a Red?
Jeez. I think it was 37.
37?
And 37, that's the most hits ever for any Reds player the first 100 at-bats. Can you believe that? Now McClain was close at 35, but being 2 hits away, that's kind of far. But think about all the great hitters, and I had more hits than any of them. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than Joey Votto or Pete Rose, but if you want to say that, Paul, you can go ahead and say that. Maybe Reed would like to chime in.
No, Tracy, the only thing I was going to say is you're wondering what's in it for fans here in this area. You got to remember, not everyone grew up in – where'd you grow up, Southern California? Not everyone grew up in the sun, near the beach like you had. Some of us grow up here in, regular old Hamilton, Ohio, where it's or Cincinnati or East Side, West Side, wherever, where it's dark 6 months out of the year and cold. So the only thing that we have to get us through the dark, depressing days of growing up in the Midwest is our local sports team. So sometimes that's all you got. That's why we live or die by it.
And you know what? And when I go to Southern California, I talk about how great of a sports town Cincinnati is. I mean, we have a lot to be proud of right now, right? I mean, you have the Bengals, you got the Reds, you got the Cyclones. I mean, you've got Xavier basketball, you got UC basketball. I mean, we're pretty strong in the city. And so, I look at, and we kid around about Southern California, and Tom brought this up the other day. Think about the sports in Cincinnati, compare that to the sports in Los Angeles, and we're better. I mean, and that's pretty good to say that Cincinnati are better sports teams than in Los Angeles, in my opinion.
So I ask you that about how many hits you had in your first 100 at-bats, because right now Elly De La Cruz is 25 for his first 83. So if he was to go 12 for 17 over his next few games, you think you're worried about that?
I'm not worried about anyone breaking that record. That record will stand for 100 years. If Pete Rose couldn't break it, if Joey Votto couldn't break it, Ken Griffey Jr. couldn't break it, Barry Larkin, you ever heard of these guys? Eric Davis couldn't break it. No one's going to break that. That record's going to be like a record that'll live forever, like a Cal Ripken games played, 41-92. I've heard people now refer to Tracy Jones' first 100 at bat and getting 37 hit. Everybody's talking about that.
It was a graphic on a game. Everybody's talking about it.
It makes people so upset to see my name. There's people at WLW that get so upset anytime I mention. So when that's shown, they just kind of want to sweep it under the carpet. Oh, that guy's a jerk. They don't like it. Lot of jealousy.
You should have saw Elliot when we told him that Tracy Jones was coming on, because he used to work at 700 WLW. So when he heard Tracy Jones coming on, he's just falling in line, said, not Tracy Jones is no good. But luckily we defended you. We got your back, Tracy.
Who said that?
Elliot. He used to work at 700 W. I don't want to throw him underneath the rug. You know what we do
Tracy, that's slander. That's utter slander, Tracy, and I'm disgusted. Reed's over there. Tracy, have you ever seen Reed's tuft of hair he's got on his head? That's the kind of guy you don't want to. It's the kind of guy you don't trust, right? Look at all. It's just a small amount of hair gel to tuft up his hair.
Tracy, they're jealous of our blonde hair. That's all it is.
Yeah. Elliot, mine used to be blonde. Now it's gray. Elliot, let me say something. You gutless bastard. I'm probably going to go up to the studio in a couple weeks. I'm going to look you up. You hear me?
I hear you. I'll be ready.
It's not going to take much, Elliot, to knock me off. I can barely lift my arm.
Do we have a?
Yeah.
We got a segment for you, Tracy. Run it,
All right,
Casey.
let's do it.
It's time to guess that player with friend of the show, first pick in the MLB draft, kinda, an overall good guy, Mr. Tracy Jones. All right, Tracy, let's get to guess that player with Tracy Jones. All right, this player,
I'm not going to do the voice the entire time.
I kind of like it, though.
That was good.
That was good. That was good, Reed. It was good.
I mean, all right, this guy played his entire career with the Cincinnati Reds. That's your first hint.
But poor guy. Played. Oh, so no one really wanted this guy, is what?
Right,
you're
he didn't
saying.
play with five MLB teams.
Right. Okay. I would say Barry Larkin.
It was not Barry Larkin. All right, hint number 2. He was a 3-time All-Star.
Are we on delay?
No, 3-time All-Star. We have a. He was a pitcher. I'll give you. That wasn't the third hint, but I'll sneak another one in there.
It wasn't Browning. It wasn't Browning. Gosh darn it! It wasn't like Tomko or no. They all got traded. So he only played for Cincinnati. Mario
12-year
Soto.
career with Cincinnati.
Mario Soto.
Mario Soto is correct. The final hit was going to be shares a name with a notable video game character, but Mario Soto, 100 career wins.
Great guy.
You know what's funny about Mario Soto? He made his debut in 1977, which of course was a year after the Reds won the World Series, and finished his career a year before they won in 1990.
Mario Soto was my road buddy once in a while. We would go
Really?
out to those entertainment venues, and we had a
Brass
good
ass?
time.
Brass ass?
No, nothing's as good as the brass ass. I'm talking about Cheetahs, Solid Gold, those places. When was the last time? Have you guys ever been to the brass ass?
I have never been to the brass ass, but I have been asked to leave a strip club.
Oh, you're one of those guys. What did you do? You touched the girl, right?
No, I went with my wife, and my wife was talking shit to one of the strippers.
See, that's awesome. I like your wife. She's has
great.
No problem going. She has no problem going to a strip bar. Very secure.
That was the one time that we went, and we actually really didn't even get through the front door. She didn't want to pay the cover charge because she was a little tanked up, as Tom would like to say, and the lady was like, "You can't get in without the cover charge," and my wife just kept saying, "Well, there's a reason you're working the door and aren't on the stage." So we were asked to leave.
Oh, so you didn't even get in the place?
I walked in, I took a gander, and then we had to leave.
How was the wool?
Not as good as the one I was taking home. So I'm a veteran.
That's a great play. Can you imagine Casey going with his new wife to a strip bar?
I think me, Casey, and Alex are going after the show today, right?
No.
You better watch it, Casey. You better watch it.
Tracy, I want to get your thought before you get out of here. I want to get your thought on the Reds because on Tuesday they were coming off 3 straight losses when we talked to you. Now they've won 2 in a row. They split. They went 3-3 against the Braves and the Orioles, 2 of the better teams in the league. Now you have 10 games left before the All-Star break. You're a half game up, 81 games into the season. They are halfway done with their season. It is a blank canvas for the next 2 minutes. What do you think about this team?
And I covered this team doing extra innings for WLW for 15 years. I have never been so surprised at how well this ball club has turned it around. I mean, you think of those first, 20 or 30 games? I thought the ball club would lose 100 games. And what David Bell, and and the whole organization put together a really, really scrappy team. And something that's not talked about much is the stolen bases. They stole 5 bases last night. I mean, that's a lot of stolen bases. Those guys know they really, God, this sounds so corny, but they really do have the chemistry working. They probably all like each other. They probably go out when they're on the road together, have dinners. It's a really close team. They just need to add that pitcher because I don't think you can win with the ERA of 5 or 6 for those starters. I mean, sooner or later, another team's going to get hot. But as far as those position ball players, I think they're as talented as any team in the big leagues. I really, really do. And they're getting better. I mean, McClain, De La Cruz, I mean, those guys are solid. Friedel. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do as far as the deadline because it's a slippery slope. And I hate to be a flip-flopper, but this is not an easy call for the Reds in the direction they go in.
Tracy, enjoy your 4th of July. Enjoy the weekend around here in Cincinnati. I know you said you're going out to California, so you'll probably be gone and miss a lot of it. But enjoy the 4th of July, and we'll have to check back in after because it'll be a week and a half now before we talk about the concert and wrap everything up. So enjoy your week out there.
Yeah, I won't be on Tuesday, but I'll be on at the pool on Thursday in a Speedo.
Love it.
Little banana. Yeah, that'll give you guys a good visual.
Absolutely.
Good visual.
Wouldn't want it any other
All
way.
right, boys. Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Say hi to Swifty for me.
You got it. All right. So, a couple of things to clean up here before we get out of here. Reed went down the sports headlines of the day on Google and the top trending topics, really just the news in general.
Yes.
But went down the top trending topics. What are you?
No, I'm just laughing. It was just a funny morning thing to do. We just went on the top trends on Twitter.
I could not think of a better way to get your news than just asking you guys what the trending Google searches were.
So there were a couple of bits of news, bits of headlines. Casey, do you still have the Leonard Fournette tweet in there? If not, it's okay.
Yes, I do. Here.
Okay, so this was the first bit of news. Leonard Fournette, scary situation here. He's okay, but escape death from this. Look at his car. That's awful. I mean, thank God he's okay.
Just spontaneously combust.
Well, you want to know why that happened is because it was after the peak of transportation, which, of course, was in 2010 when Chevy unrolled the Silverado 1500 Z71. Any car after that was after they perfected transportation, so it's a downward slope after that. That looked newer than a 2010 Silverado.
Thank God he's all right. Other bit of news, and this is your little education lesson for the day. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he plays for Tottenham Hotspur. Sung Hoon Min?
Nailed it.
Maybe?
Nailed it.
It's close.
Nailed it.
I've watched him play enough, but I've just never tried to pronounce his name. Plays for Tottenham Hotspur over there in England. Soccer player, if you're completely unfamiliar. The reason we're bringing this up is because he got younger today. There was a law passed in December. He's South Korean. And if you don't know how age works in South Korea, there is the traditional Korean age system. This is from an article on ESPN. It dates back centuries and saw the gestation period of all babies included in their age, deeming them to be 1 year old at birth. Then every person became another year older on January 1st, even those babies born in December. So you could be 2 years old, but in real world terms, be 2 weeks old. That law was passed. I mean, that's been the tradition in South Korea forever, but there was a law passed revising that. Now all of their ages are the same, so there are a lot of South Koreans who got a year or two younger today.
Good for them.
Good for them.
That?
Good for them.
How about that?
Life back on.
Baby, yeah.
Huge for the brand.
Woo!
Imagine you woke up in the morning and, Paul, you're 2 years younger now.
Boom.
Think about, Jacob, how old are you?
21.
Imagine today they tell you are now 19.
That'd be unfortunate.
That would be unfortunate
That'd
in
be
this
very,
country.
very unfortunate.
Right. There's some. Do you get
New lease on
grandfathered
life.
in?
Yeah, I think you probably get grandfathered in. I also don't know what those kinds of over 21 laws are in
Yeah, I
South
would imagine
Korea.
the drinking laws in South Korea are a little different.
Probably.
Do we have a cherry on top?
Got 2.
Oh, let's go.
2 cherries.
2. This
on
is
top.
a
Ask
off
for
the
an extra
bench
cherry.
first.
Huh? I don't know. That would.
What are we doing first, Reed?
Go ahead and do the catch.
This one?
Yeah, so let me lead into this. So before this kind of wraps a bow around on several things that we were talking about. This was a catch in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, number 2.
Oh, is that Lima? The Locos?
That is the Lima Locos. And the reason that I say that brings it up, not only are we in Hamilton, who also has a team in that league, but that is an incredible catch. Elliot told us earlier that he was in the Glee Club. Elliot, did you ever watch the show Glee?
I did.
Where did it take place?
In Lima, Ohio.
Darn right it did. So ties bow around a few things. Lima Locos getting a top 10 play.
I have a quick
What a
take on that.
catch.
That should be a home run. If you
So
don't
people-
stay in the field of play, that needs to be a home run.
That is a thing that people oftentimes get wrong. Like someone leaves the field, like Derek Jeter's catch or something like that. They say, you got to bring it back in. I disagree. I'm a player and part of the field. It did not hit ground outside of the field of play. I caught the ball. I don't care if I run 80 feet outside the field of play and catch it if it pops up long enough. It should be an out.
Did he have both feet in bounds? Did he drag the toe? No, he didn't drag the
No.
toe.
If you don't come back down, if you land over the wall, I think it has to be a home run. Should be a home run.
I disagree. Leave it at that.
That's fair enough.
All right, the other one, the cherry on top, this was sent to me by my friend. This is right around the corner from us, literally 2 blocks away from us, a church sign that says, "The Reds are in first place. Jesus is coming soon." The world is ending. Shout out to the, I don't know what street that's on, but Presbyterian Church here in downtown Hamilton, Ohio.
It's awesome.
I'm assuming you've already tweeted that out.
I have not.
Oh, it'll be out there soon, probably.
You going to tweet that?
I'm assuming you will.
No.
All right. Anybody else? Anything? Any news, notes, nuggets to clean up?
I have a question, Paul.
Yes,
are
Casey.
Are we doing not too picky, or are we just going in the vault?
We're just going in the vault.
All right.
Let's get in there.
Let's get in the vault. Let's get inside the vault. Let's go around the room. Elliot, we're going to start with you.
Yeah.
Your pick.
My pick. What was my pick, Jacob? I gave it to you earlier.
Yeah, so we're going to do a first here. We're going to give the Z Brazilianaire on air.
On air. If I can find the teams I gave you.
The Rays money line and the Dodgers money line.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So welcome back to the Z Brazilianaires. Now today you're gonna parlay the Dodgers.
Do you have to do the voice?
What?
Do you have to do the voice?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, if we're going full. You said we're doing full shticks today.
Full shtick.
All right.
The Dodgers.
Start over, please.
Okay. Welcome back to the Z Brazilianaires. It wasn't a tough one yesterday. We won. How about that? We won. The Rays were down. Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you. Reed and Casey, they didn't clap. I don't know what Reed's doing in his shoulder right now.
Oh,
but
well,
anyway.
you don't see what I'm doing, do you?
Okay, so no, I don't. Oh, you're zooming in?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. What a bad look. All right, so should I? Okay,
Now you kick it off.
I got to redo it again. Welcome back to the Z Brazilianaires. It wasn't a tough one yesterday. We won. The Rays scored 3 in the 9th to beat whoever the hell they were playing. Who were they playing?
This is your
Diamondbacks.
thing.
Diamondbacks. All right, so tonight you're going to parlay the Dodgers. The Dodgers are taking on the Rockies in Coors Field. I think the Rockies are the worst franchise in the MLB. I think that franchise is terrible. Take the Dodgers money line. You're parlaying that with the Rays. We're going to ride the Rays train all year long from now on. I'm just going to keep buying the Rays. Rays are taking on the Diamondbacks. Rays have a not great pitcher in Chirinos, and he's taking on, I forget who it was, but he's got like a 9 ERA. Rays, Dodgers, money line, Z Brazilianaires. Jacob.
Red Sox pitcher Brian Bayo, over 3.5 strikeouts. Not on Betfred yet, but that's the number I'm seeing everywhere else. So just wait, be patient. It'll be up there.
Athletics money line over the Yankees. Nothing funnier than they get a perfect game and then win the game.
And then losing, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Athletics, and they're only plus 155. It's not crazy. Athletics.
Good luck.
Casey? Yeah, good luck.
Ooh, I'm going to go with probably another prop tonight. I'm going to go with Spencer Steer, and I'm going to do a hit. Just going to do Spencer Steer to get a hit tonight.
1 second. I got to see what the odds are, and I'll be ready for this. All right. Welcome back to the Mouse Millionaires. First off, we're going to take Taiwan Walker Knight and Kyle Hendricks on the north side of Chicago. Both those pitchers don't give up runs. Those both offenses stink. They always have, and I say that with all due respect. Take the under 10 in that game. That is the Cubs versus Phillies under, and then you're going to go ahead and parlay that with Max Scherzer on the mound in New York. The Big Apple, Mad Max Scherzer, 195 on the money line. Go ahead and take that, parlay that with the under in the Cubs, Phillies. That is the Mouse Millionaires, plus 177 on the greatest sports book on the planet. That's Betfred.
By the way, I just now realized Reds aren't playing tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Do you think you're funny, Reed?
I'm gonna take the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Everyone knows $1 zillion is more than $1 million.
Do you think you're funny? I mean, is that what that was? You think you're just a funny guy now? You got a tuft of hair and you think you're just a real funny guy? Look, everybody, George Carlin's in the room. Listen, guy, Zebra Zillionaire is honest and it's hard work. You think it's easy making picks? I haven't won yet. I haven't won a week yet. And you're over here doing the Mouse Millionaires. Reed, the king of shticks over there, sitting in his iron throne. Boo you.
This has been Off the Bench, presented by Betfred Sportsbook. We will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Hey, Reed, this show, it airs from 10 to 12. That's right. And it's every Monday through Friday. And we can't wait to see you. Also, make sure you download this show in podcast form. You can do that. Search Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman. It's in podcast form. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere around the world. This has been Off the Bench. And we're just going to leave you with some tunes. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everybody.
His song has major Kevin Spacey vibes.
Reed's guy.
Dreamweaver, I believe we can reach the third line.